Hokage I can only draw S-rank rewards. Chapter 201-220. Chapter 201 The Battle of Mangekyo. Facing this sea of fire, Shisui and Itachi did not panic at all. Since the person in front of him claimed to be Uchiha Madara, his strength must not be underestimated, and those boring temptations can be omitted. Amaterasu. Uchiha Itachi directly activated his Mangekyo Sharingan ability, and the black flame burned in the sea of fire, which not only blocked Obito's attack, but also counterattacked towards Obito along the sea of fire. Uchiha Obito's pupils narrowed when he saw it. What kind of flame is this? It can even burn flames. Is this his Mangekyo's pupil technique? But when Amaterasu's flames burned on Obito, Obito didn't dodge. There was a smile on the corner of his mouth, and the next moment Obito's figure turned into a wooden statue. Substitute. No, if it's an avatar, it can't be hidden from my eyes. This should be a Mokuden wood-style clone. Uchiha Itachi looked at the burned Mokuden wood-style clone and retracted his Amaterasu flame. In the next instant, Uchiha Itachi seemed to notice something, and instantly pulled out the kunai from his waist and stabbed back, turning his body over, and sure enough, Obito appeared behind him. But the kunai in his hand passed directly through Obito's body. This is the time-space pupil technique that the teacher mentioned. Uchiha Shisui looked at this scene with a solemn expression, thinking of the ability that the teacher Lei Luo told him. Then Uchiha Shisui appeared directly behind Obito in a blink of an eye, drew his knife and lifted it up with his backhand, and sandwiched Obito with Uchiha Itachi. Obito was going to turn the truth into reality after escaping Uchiha Itachi's kunai and launched a counterattack, but Shisui's knife forced him to dispel the idea. In the next second, Obito's figure disappeared again and appeared not far from Shisui. Nice Junior, I'm going to get serious. Uchiha Obito looked at Shisui and narrowed his eyes, and said coldly. Shisui smiled and said, come on then. Mokuden wood style, thorns killing technique. With the Obito hand seal, countless thorn vines rushed towards the Shisui duo from the ground. Seeing this, Shisui used Kaden fire style chakra and instantly completed the nature transformation. Kaden fire style chakra was attached to the ninja sword in his hand. Shisui style swordsmanship, red flames. Shisui swung his knife and slashed out several blazing slashes, severing the incoming thorns and vines, leaving dark knife marks on the ground. After all, Shisui is also a disciple of Lei Luo, and Lei Luo is not a person who hides secrets. Shisui's teaching in swordsmanship is not hidden. Shisui's Shisui-style swordsmanship is based on Lei Luo's water-breathing style swordsmanship, combining his own understanding and his own chakra attributes to create a more suitable swordsmanship for him. And with Shisui's qualifications, he has a deep understanding of chakra nature transformation, which greatly strengthens the power of Shisui's swordsmanship, which can easily cut off the vines released by Mokuden wood style thorns killing technique. Naturally, this battle is not a house, nor is it a turn-based game where you make one move and one move. Shisui cut off the vine, he flashed directly to Obito's head, and then slashed straight down with the ninja sword in his hand. Shisui-style swordsmanship, explosive flames. The Kaden fire style chakra attached this time has become a burst, not the scorching heat of red flames. If an ordinary person is slashed by this knife, the whole body will explode. It was then burned by the blasting flames until it became ashes. But Shisui was disappointed again. His ninja knife passed through Obito again, and the moment the ninja knife passed through Obito, Obito immediately turned the truth into reality. Damn, if I can't lock this guy, my Koto Amatsukami won't work either. Uchiha Shisui was about to turn around to attack, but found that Obito had put a chain on him at some point. Under the pull of the chain, the figure couldn't help but pause, but before he could cut the chain, Obito's attack came to him. Mokuden wood style, infernal chaos. Numerous thick vines drilled out from behind Obito, forming a giant hand, grabbing towards Shisui. You can only use that trick. The pupil power in Shisui Mangekyo Sharingan gushed wildly. Susanoo. Chakra instantly constructed a skeleton outside Shisui's body, broke Obito's chains, and waved his hand to block the infernal chaos. Humph. Are you the only one who can use Susanoo? Obito snorted coldly. A pair of skeletons also condensed outside his body, and then punched Obito with a punch. Boom. Shisui caught Obito's fist, but was knocked back half a step. Even with the same power, our chakras are worlds apart. Obito looked at Shisui, who was shrouded in Susanoo, and said lightly, with a hint of disdain in his tone. After all, Obito is a fusion of Mokudan, wood-style, cells, and his chakra is much more than Shisui and Itachi. Shisui himself knew this, and he had to clearly feel that after he turned on Susanoo, the chakra in his body was draining like a sluice. This battle can't go on any longer, it must be resolved quickly. Just when Shisui and Obito were in a stalemate, Uchiha Itachi on the side would not stand by and turn on Mangekyo and use Amaterasu again. Black flames burn over Obito's Susanoo, but it feels like it's doing little. For me in this state, your pupil technique is no longer so powerful. Obito said loudly. Really, but don't forget, I also turned on Mangekyo. Uchiha Itachi said in a deep voice. Then he stopped Amaterasu, turned his pupil power, and released Susanoo as well. One-on-one we are not your opponent, but what about 1-2? Uchiha Itachi said coldly, and then controlled Susanoo to punch Obito in the back. Boom. Obito turned to his side, reached out to block Itachi's fist again, and said. Even if it's 1-on-2, you're not my opponent either. Then, with a sudden force, Shisui and Itachi, who were in Susanoo's state, were thrown out. Boom. Boom. Shisui and Itachi fell heavily to the ground, but with Susanoo's protection, neither of them were hurt. Itachi, our chakra can't last for too long, we have to fight quickly, I'll go first, and then you take the time to release another of your spells. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Then in the next second, Uchiha Shisui took a deep breath, more pupil power poured out of the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Susanoo skeleton outside the body also turned into Susanoo armor. Itachi, 3 minutes. Up. The next moment, Shisui, who was completely Susanoo, charged towards Obito in an instant. Chapter 202 Madara fights the Four Shadows. Just when Uchiha Obito was fighting with Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi in the Gundam battle, the White Zetsu Corps had already fought against the ninja allied forces. The Four Shadows are also rushing towards this side, but their whereabouts have long been discovered by Black Zetsu. Lord Madara, Hokage, Raikage, Mizukage, and Tsuchikage are heading towards Omegakure village, and it is estimated that they will arrive soon. Black Zetsu stood in front of Uchiha Madara and bowed his head respectfully. Uchiha Madara raised her head with a smile when she heard the words, "Oh, the shadow of the four great ninja village. It's interesting, just let them warm up with me." As soon as the voice fell, the figure of Uchiha Madara disappeared in place. There's a ninja with a huge chakra rushing towards us. Tsunade sensed the chakra fluctuations of Uchiha Madara, and immediately stopped the remaining 3 shadows, keeping alert, waiting for the arrival of the enemy. Impossible, how could it be him? Onoki looked at the figure appearing in front of him, his voice trembling a little, revealing a hint of disbelief. Tsunade also recognized this figure, and his expression became heavy. Who is this person? Terumi-me looked at Onoki and Tsunade's reactions, and was surprised that this person was able to make the 2 shadows make such a gesture. Uchiha Madara. Tsunade uttered the man's name word by word. Onoki also nodded cautiously. How is that possible? Isn't this guy dead long ago? The 4th generation Raikage I Wenyan couldn't believe it, and Uchiha Madara looked very young. How could this be possible? Even if Uchiha Madara can live to this day, he should be an old man much older than Onoki, and the person in front of him is obviously a young adult. I don't know what's going on, but I won't forget his face. Onoki said in a deep voice. And at this time Uchiha Madara has come to them. Hehe, I didn't expect that there are still people in the ninja world who know me. Uchiha Madara proudly looked at the four shadows in front of him, not paying attention at all. Then he said to Tsunade, well, you should be Hashirama's granddaughter. I didn't expect you to be a Hokage. It seems that there is no one in Konoha. Tsunade snorted coldly when he heard the words, it's not up to you to have someone in Konoha. Although I don't know how you became like this, you should stay in the grave at your age. Since you ran out, I'll send you back. Uchiha Madara laughed wildly when he heard the words. Ha 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 ha, you have ambition, you deserve to be Hashirama's granddaughter, then you all come. Tsunade turned his head and shouted at the remaining three shadows. No matter how famous he is, we must defeat him. This is our responsibility as shadows. Onoki nodded and said, don't worry, remember, be careful with his eyes. Then let's go. As soon as the words fell, a flash of lightning flashed, and the fourth generation Raikage charged directly towards Uchiha Madara. Let me see how strong your ninja Shura is. Raiden Thunder Style. Righteous Thunder Shen Furious Thunder Axe. Under the blessing of Raiden Thunder Style Chakra, the fourth generation Raikage appeared like a bolt of lightning, instantly appearing above Uchiha Madara's head, and his right leg was like a thunder axe, slashing towards Uchiha Madara's head. But even with his speed, his movements were clearly visible in Uchiha Madara's Sharingan, easily dodging his leg. And reflexively punched him in the head. Bang! The fourth generation Raikage did not dodge and evade, and suddenly held Uchiha Madara's fist, and then smashed Uchiha Madara's chest with an elbow with his backhand, directly smashing it through. But the Uchiha Madara, who was smashed by him the next second, instantly turned into a wooden statue. As this grandfather's wooden clone technique. Tsunade's pupils shrank suddenly, then recovered immediately. Uchiha Madara's figure reappeared and came to her, and kicked her right leg with a violent wind. Fantastic power. Tsunade didn't have time to dodge, so he could only fight with Uchiha Madara, and his right fist slammed directly on the sole of Uchiha Madara's foot, blocking the move. Good power, but you're far from Hashirama. Uchiha Madara looked at Tsunade and said lightly. I'm not as strong as my grandfather, but your strength is also much worse than the legend. Tsunade replied without showing weakness. At this moment, the fourth generation Raikage had already rushed up again and came behind Uchiha Madara. Raiden Thunder Style. Thunder Plow Hot Knife. I saw that the fourth generation of Raikage turned his palm into a knife and slashed directly at Uchiha Madara. But at this moment, countless vines suddenly grew from behind Uchiha Madara and bound towards the fourth generation of Raikage, forcing him to stop. Mokuden Wood Style. That's right, I have successfully merged Hashirama's power now, and no one in this world can stop me anymore. Uchiha Madara said coldly after hearing Tsunade's question. You guys only have this strength, so now that the warm-up is over, you should die too. Mokuden Wood Style. Flower Deep Forest Emergence. Obviously Uchiha Madara has no idea of playing with the people in front of him. After all, they are not Hashirama, and they are not qualified to play against him at all. With the hand seal of Uchiha Madara, countless trees rose from the ground, and soon they grew into towering giant trees with huge cockroaches growing on them. Faced with this move, Seiying didn't have the ability to hard connect, and immediately used the instant body to leave the battlefield. Dodge the attack of the trees. And Onoki looked at this trick and understood that the cockroaches on the tree must not be allowed to open. If the cockroach opens into a flower, it will continuously release pollen, and once the pollen of the flower is inhaled, it will faint and be slaughtered by it. Then use this trick. Onoki used the Doden Earth Style. Lightweight rock technique, to fly his body into the sky, looking at the growing woods below, chakra gathered in his hands. Jinten Particle Style. Detachment of the Primitive World Technique. Quote. This is an upgraded version of Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique, which not only expands the scope and power, but also has a lasting effect. Any object close to the detachment of the primitive world technique will be turned into an atomic state. As the light wave in Onoki's hand shot out, the flower's world of trees wall released by Uchiha Madara instantly turned to ashes, and the light wave shot towards Uchiha Madara unabated. But Uchiha Madara easily dodged Onoki's move. Then he looked at Onoki as if he had remembered something, and said, "You are the kid who followed Wu back then. It seems that you have learned a lot from Wu." Onoki was suspended in the air, looked at Uchiha Madara below, and said firmly, "That's right, my teacher and I were not your opponents back then. You were severely injured by you, and it formed a nightmare in my heart. Now, I finally have the opportunity to regain myself." Uchiha Madara, suffer. Chapter 203-4 Shadows. Jinten particle style. Split detachment of the primitive world technique. Quote. Onoki released a cone-like barrier from his hand again, shooting towards Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara sneered, and with a flash, he dodged Onoki's attack. Then, with the hand seal in his hand, he opened his mouth and spit it out, and a terrifying sea of fire struck Onoki in an instant. Kaiden fire style. Great fire destruction. But the other three shadows are not vegetarians, and Terumi Mei, who has never made a move, finally made a move. Terumi Mei, as Mizukage, is powerful and can use her chakra to use her super sweeten, water style, in waterless land. And Terumi Mei has 4 chakra attributes of water, fire, earth and thunder, and has Kekkei Genkai and Quat, Yoden lava style, and Quat, and Quat, Footen vapor style, and Quat, is the only one who has 2 kinds of Kekkei Genkai of ninjas. Sweeten water style. Water formation pillar. Quote. Seeing the hand seal in Terumi Mei's hand, chakra gathered behind his throat, and spit out a large meteor-like water ball from his mouth, rushing directly towards the sea of fire released by Uchiha Madara. CCC. A burst of steam filled the air, and the great fire destruction of Uchiha Madara was extinguished. Then Terumi Mei hand seal again. Sweeten water style. Water dragon bullet. A ferocious water dragon spiraled into the sky and rushed towards Uchiha Madara in an instant. The 4th generation of Hokage I also instantly injected a large amount of Raiden, thunder style, chakra into the water dragon bullet, and instantly formed a combined ninjutsu, thunder water dragon bullet. This time, the paralysis effect was added to the water dragon bullet, and the power was even higher. But just as the thunder water dragon bullet was about to hit Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan turned, and an armor instantly appeared outside, blocking the attack. Exactly Susanoo. A warrior in dark blue chakra armor with swords in both hands. This Uchiha Madara is a full-body Susanoo when it is opened. After blocking the thunder water dragon bullet, Susanoo swung his sword and slashed at the 4 shadows. Uchiha Madara stood in the middle of Susanoo, with her arms around her chest, without feeling the slightest pressure. She looked at the 4 shadows and said coldly, "Just a few of you, do you still want to dance? Don't underestimate people." Tsunade gave a cold drink and charged towards Uchiha Madara again. Heavenly foot of pain. Tsunade kicked Susanoo, but didn't shake Uchiha Madara in the slightest. Uchiha Madara said indifferently, "At this level of attack, there is no need for defense. Then try my trick. Legendary level Chio dance." The 4th generation Hokage I also rushed up after Tsunade, with a Raiden thunder style, chakra flashing on his body, turning his palm into a knife, and slashing towards Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. Terumi Mei's attack followed suit. Yoden lava style. The magic of dissolving monsters. In an instant, countless strong corrosive acids spewed out of Terumi Mei's mouth, covering Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. CCC. Under this strong acid corrosion, Uchiha Madara's Susanoo finally showed signs of collapse. Onoki also finally shot, adding the last straw. Jinten particle style. Split detachment of the primitive world technique. Quote. A cube-shaped barrier shot out of Onoki's hand, hitting the gap where Susanoo had been corroded by Terumi Mei's monster-dissolving technique. Uchiha Madara's Susanoo finally collapsed, but the next moment Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan spins. Seal of Sealing. The surrounding ninjutsu is instantly absorbed by it, and its body does not cause any damage. A smile appeared at the corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth. Very good, your performance finally got me some interest. Raiden Thunder Style's ninjutsu, coupled with Yoden Lava Style and Jinten Particle Style's bloodline boundaries, the attack is quite strong, very good. But what about your defenses? Rinnegan turned again, Susanoo reappeared outside Uchiha Madara's body, and then waved his hand and countless huge series of tomo flew towards the four shadows. Boom! 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 After a violent roar, the smoke and dust dissipated, and two giant stone giants blocked in front of the four shadows, blocking the attack of Uchiha Madara. Doden's Earth-style Golem, 2 golems, double defense, that's pretty good. Saying that, Uchiha Madara is ready to attack again. Onoki looked at Uchiha Madara with a solemn expression, and then said to the three around him, it's coming. Now we're going to take turns attacking. Okay, got it, the three replied. Suiten Water Style, the art of Kurigakure. With the Terumi Mei hand seal, the fog filled the entire battlefield in an instant, covering up their figures. Raiden Thunder Style, Chio Dance. The fourth generation Hokage I punched Susanoo again. This time, the stimulation of Raiden Thunder Style chakra was even more violent, and the fourth generation Hokage I had turned into lightning. Onoki gave him another push and added force. Doden Earth Style, Super Heavy Rock Art. With this help, the fourth generation Hokage I punched through Uchiha Madara's Susanoo, causing it to shatter again. Onoki saw the hand seal in his hand. Doden Earth Style, Colossus of the Rock. Onoki's figure rose instantly, and a huge rock colossus appeared under his feet. Crush him. Under Onoki's control, the rock colossus slammed into Uchiha Madara with a savage punch. Uchiha Madara looked at the fist that the rock colossus smashed, and did not panic at all. Mokuden Wood Style. Flower World of Trees Wall. Boom. The stout tree rose from the foot of the rock giant, and then tied the rock giant to control it, and the fist could no longer smash it down. Then the trees snapped together, and the rock colossus split in an instant. Fortunately, Onoki controlled the stone to fly with himself and the fourth generation of Hokage I, but this time he couldn't stop the opening of the tree. Attention! Watch out for the pollen. Tsunade snorted, then immediately covered his mouth and nose. With the opening of the flowers, countless pollen scattered, and the yellow pollen covered the sky, creating a sandstorm-like scene. But at this moment, Uchiha Madara released Susanoo again, and then slashed down at the four shadows with a sword. What? Sighing noticed Uchiha Madara's actions and immediately prepared to dodge, but accidentally took a small sip of pollen, and instantly fell into a trance, but still did not dodge completely. The four figures were blasted out instantly. You are paying too much attention to flowers, Uchiha Madara said lightly. Then the figure flickered and jumped to the top of the tree. I'm giving you a big fire. Kaden Fire Style, Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation. In an instant, the sea of trees turned into a sea of fire, and it was more violent than the previous sea of fire. Mizukage. The fourth Hokage shouted. Terumi Mei struggled to get up from the ground. Suiten Water Style, Water Formation Pillar. Quote. Terumi Mei also wanted to do the same and put out Uchiha Madara's Kaden Fire Style again. However, the fierce battle just now consumed her a lot, and even though some of the power of Kaden Fire Style was cancelled, she still slumped to the ground without extinguishing the flames. Seeing that the four shadows have fallen into a desperate situation. Chapter 204 _ The Art of Baihao. Lei Luo is here. I think there is one less person now fighting against Uchiha Madara than in the original book, but because a one less person, their strength is more difficult to deal with. Uchiha Madara. Tsunade struggled to get up from the ground. The first item, the medical ninja must not give up treatment until all his teammates are dead. Number 2, medical ninjas must not be at the forefront. The third item, the medical ninja must never die before any of the team members. That's what I teach my students. Tsunade stood up tremblingly and started hand seal with his hands on his chest. But, there's one more rule. That's the fourth item. Only the medical ninjas of the Grandmasters, ninja creation and regeneration. The technique of 100 heroes, are allowed to break the above criteria. With Tsunade's hand seal, the diamond-shaped mark of the yin seal on the head shattered, and immediately countless chakras poured out of the seal, flooding the whole body, and recovered. The art of psychic slug. Tsunade instantly summoned a huge slug clone. Slug fairy, please help them heal first. Tsunade pointed to the remaining 3 shadows and said to the slug fairy. The slug immortal looked at the 3 shadows lying on the ground, nodded, and then wrapped the 3 shadows with his body to heal and restore the 3 shadows' injuries. Heavenly foot of pain. Tsunade stepped down, and the flower and tree world they encircled burst apart in an instant, and the flames burning on it spread out and gradually extinguished. Uchiha Madara, who was standing on top of the trees, looked down at Tsunade and said indifferently, "The art of 100 heroes. I've never heard of it." Tsunade replied resolutely, "This is my forbidden technique. In other words, only I can use him in battle." Then he stomped his foot suddenly, and rushed towards Uchiha Madara in an instant. Uchiha Madara said indifferently, "Just a medical ninja." Tsunade roared, "Don't think I'm just an ordinary medical ninja. Drink. Fantastic power." As soon as the words fell, Tsunade's figure had already appeared in front of Uchiha Madara, and then he slammed down Uchiha Madara with a punch. But Susanoo's skeleton appeared outside Uchiha Madara's body again, blocking Tsunade's blow. Yes, although not as fast as Raikage, but stronger than Raikage. Uchiha Madara looked at the crack in Susanoo's skeleton and said lightly, "Yes, you are indeed not a weak woman, but when the other 3 shadows are seriously injured, you come to die alone, then don't blame me." Uchiha Madara controlled Susanoo and punched Tsunade directly. But Tsunade dodged the blow in a blink of an eye, and reappeared behind Uchiha Madara. Heavenly foot of pain. This time, this kick hit the Jinchuriki column of the skeleton of Uchiha Madara Susanoo's skeleton, and the huge force finally shattered the Jinchuriki column of Susanoo's skeleton, making it scattered again. Then Tsunade onslaught constantly. Rush around. Tsunade's chakra, which runs his body, formed an imperceptible bioelectronic, and punched Uchiha Madara, trying to interfere with Uchiha Madara's control of his body. But she was disappointed by the result. The electrons generated by the rushing around did not interfere with Uchiha Madara's nerves in the slightest. It's a shame that this little trick is still being used at a time like this. Uchiha Madara shook his head, looking very disappointed. He squeezed Tsunade's fist with his left hand, then picked up a newly broken bone of Susanoo with his right hand, and stabbed it directly into Tsunade's body. Ah! The pierced Tsunade could not help but let out a scream, his pupils dilated suddenly, and blood kept dripping from his body to the ground. Then Uchiha Madara's Susanoo even returned to normal again. "This is the end of the matter, it's time to send you on your way." Uchiha Madara looked at Tsunade and said lightly. But Tsunade came back to his senses immediately after experiencing the pain just now, bit Kiba and turned his palm into a knife, standing straight and smashing Susanoo's bones that had pierced into his body. Then he pulled it out and threw it directly towards Uchiha Madara. But it was slapped by Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. Boom! Tsunade's body was smashed into the ground. But Tsunade got up again immediately, and the terrifying wounds that had penetrated his body were healing rapidly. "I didn't expect you to be able to move." Uchiha Madara understood instantly when he saw Tsunade, Madara's wound healed. It turned out to be a regenerated body that doesn't need to be printed. Is this the ability of the fourth item you are talking about? Same ability as Hashirama, very good. Tsunade looked at Uchiha Madara and said calmly, I thought I could make a hole with this move. Uchiha Madara smiled and said, want to kill me with my magic? What an interesting idea. At this moment, Onoki had gotten out of the slug's treatment at some point, temporarily regained his standing, and flew behind Uchiha Madara. Try my trick. White light waves suddenly condensed in Onoki's hand and blasted towards Uchiha Madara. This is his Jinten particle style. Detachment of the primitive world technique. But as soon as Uchiha Madara Rinnegan turned, Onoki's attack was all absorbed by Madara. Are you confused, Onoki? My Rinnegan can absorb all spells. This trick doesn't work for me. You can't beat me. Then Susanoo swung his sword and slashed Onoki away again. Ah! Tsunade charged again and attacked Uchiha Madara. It's useless. Uchiha Madara's eyes were cold, and Susanoo punched Tsunade away again. In this way, Tsunade rushed over and over again and was repelled over and over again. After all, she couldn't hold on even after she had activated the 100 hero technique. PFF'd. Repulsed again, she spat out a mouthful of blood, and fell to her knees. Hokage. Onoki was also very anxious when he saw this, but he was no match for Uchiha Madara at all. The strength gap between the two sides is simply too great. Uchiha Madara glared back, Rinnegan turned around, Onoki relaxed for a while because of Tsunade's heavy heart, and was instantly hit by Uchiha Madara's demonic illusion, and also fell to his knees. Now Tsunade and Onoki have lost their fighting power again, while Tsurunime and Reikage are still receiving treatment in the slug's body, and it seems that no one can stop Uchiha Madara's attack. Just when Uchiha Madara controlled Susanoo to attack Tsunade and Onoki again, Leiluo finally arrived. I saw the figure of Leiluo in the distance kept flickering, as if walking in the air, rushing towards here quickly. When he saw Uchiha Madara attack again, Leiluo's hands burst into dazzling golden light. Light escape, laser cannon. A thick laser light wave shot out from Leiluo's hand and slammed hard on Susanoo. Chapter 205 Leiluo vs Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara stopped attacking and used Rinnegan to absorb Leiluo's laser cannon with his backhand. Nice strength. I didn't expect a number one person like you to appear in the ninja world. Uchiha Madara said lightly. At this time, Leiluo had appeared by Tsunade's side, lifted him up, and then pressed his right hand onto Tsunade's majestic heart with a soft light. When Leiluo received the news from the investigation team, Leiluo had already guessed that Tsunade's opponent might be Uchiha Madara, so he rushed over immediately. However, the distance from the frontier camp to the Four Shadows battlefield is not too close. In order to speed up Leiluo, he used Light Dun and Void Walk alternately. Fortunately, Tsunade and the others came just when Huang Izumi was about to die. After seeing that Tsunade's state returned to a safe state, Leiluo stopped his hand. Tsunade-sama, shut down the technique of Baihao, then leave it to me. Leiluo looked down at Tsunade who woke up and said softly. Tsunade nodded, shutting down the 100 Heroes technique, and the diamond-shaped mark of the Yin seal reappeared on his forehead. When Tsunade fully uses the ninja art to create and regenerate 100 Heroes, it will consume part of her life force. Tsunade, which has now closed the 100 Heroes technique, is obviously more old-fashioned than before. Then Leiluo directly threw Tsunade in the direction of the Slug Fairy and shouted, Slug Fairy, please help to treat Tsunade. Slug nodded and said, no problem, leave it to me. Although I don't know why Uchiha Madara didn't take the opportunity to attack Leiluo, Leiluo also doesn't know. Maybe it's self-confidence, maybe it's happy to see a hunter, but these are not important. Leiluo stood up straight, looked directly at Uchiha Madara, and said, you are Uchiha Madara, the legendary Shira of the ninja world, really admired for a long time. Lei Luo carefully looked at Uchiha Madara's state and found that he was not in the state of impure world reincarnation, but a real resurrection. It seems that Nagato is probably no longer alive. Uchiha Madara looked at Lei Luo and said proudly, "Yes. I am Uchiha Madara. Ninja, your strength is good, and you are qualified to say your name in front of me." Lei Luo looked at Uchiha Madara's arrogant posture, but only smiled slightly, without feeling the slightest pressure. After listening to Uchiha Madara's words, Lei Luo replied loudly, "I am Jonin, the Konoha village elite, Lei Luo, the general staff member of the Allied Ninja World Army." Lei Luo. Uchiha Madara heard the name familiar, as if it was a long time ago before he died. Black Zetsu told him some information about Lei Luo, a light that has never appeared in the ninja world for hundreds of years, escaped blood following the boundaries. I didn't expect it to grow to this point now. Let's see if you can bring me some surprises. Lei Luo thought to himself, surprise. As long as you don't get frightened later. The two sides were not chatting, and the atmosphere suddenly became solemn. The next moment, the two attacked each other at the same time. Kaiden, fire style. Majestic destroyer flame, great fire annihilation. Uchiha Madara held the hand seal in his hand, his cheeks bulged, and a sea of flames spit out from his mouth in an instant. Lei Luo's right hand was empty, and Hirinmaru instantly appeared in Lei Luo's hand, and instantly entered the Shikai state. Breath of water *1 form *water surface / ice dragon spinning tail. Holding Hirinmaru, Lei Luo slashed out a huge frost saber chi, instantly smashing the oncoming fire sea, and the frost saber chi still had a lot of residue after slashing the fire sea, and continued to slash towards Uchiha Madara. The power of Hyoten, ice style. Is there more than one bloodline boundary? Uchiha Madara looked at Lei Luo's attack with some doubts. He knew too little about Lei Luo's intelligence, but Lei Luo knew him well. When the frost blade chi came to Uchiha Madara, it was absorbed by Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan again. Since Kaiden, fire style, doesn't work, try Mokuden, wood style. Mokuden, wood style. Thorns killing technique. With Uchiha Madara's hand seal, countless thorn vines grow wildly from the ground, and then wind towards Lei Luo. But Lei Luo is all too familiar with the power of Mokuden, wood style. After all, Senju Nawaki and Yamato, the two Mokuden, wood style, ninjas, are his disciples. Although Nawaki's Mokuden, wood style, is not as powerful as Uchiha Madara, Lei Luo knows nothing about the effects of these ninjutsu techniques. It's really not innovative at all. After all these years, Mokuden, wood style, is still using the ones developed by Senju Hashirama. Light escape. Burning the sky. The light attribute chakra transformed into a golden flame, spewing out from Lei Luo's mouth, instantly burning the vines entangled in front of him, turning it into ashes. The temperature of this burning sky is much higher than that of Kaiden, fire style, ninjutsu. Then the light flashed, and Lei Luo appeared in front of Uchiha Madara. Breath of water *chi Shizuku ripple. This is the fastest move among all the moves of breath of water. When Lei Luo appeared in front of Uchiha Madara, the Hirinmaru in his hand had already pierced Madara's abdomen. But Madara, who was stabbed by Lei Luo, did not bleed, but turned into a wooden sculpture. Wood clone. Lei Luo instantly drew his knife and slashed behind him. As expected, Uchiha Madara's figure just appeared there, and was forced back by Lei Luo again. It's faster than Raikage, and the attack is stronger. You're very good. Uchiha Madara looked at Lei Luo and said lightly. Lei Luo smiled and said, but Uchiha Madara, you are not as strong as the legends say. Uchiha Madara's eyes became a little colder after listening to Lei Luo's words. Kiba has a sharp mouth. I saw Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan spin, and Susanoo reappeared outside Madara's body. And it is Susanoo in full state. The blue-armored samurai slashed Lei Luo in the head with 2 swords. When Lei Luo saw this, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Interesting, I can also play with this armored warrior. Immediately after that, Lei Luo instantly inspired the power of Godzilla in his heart and entered the Godzilla-tailed beast coat mode. The dark blue chakra condensed on Lei Luo's body. Suddenly a warrior with the same armor appeared, and it looked more powerful than Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. Lei Luo's right hand was empty, and the light attribute chakras converged into a huge lightsaber in Lei Luo's hand, blocking Uchiha Madara Susanoo's attack. Light escape. Judgment. Then Lei Luo shot the giant lightsaber directly at Uchiha Madara with his backhand. Lei Luo, you really gave me a big surprise. Uchiha Madara looked at Lei Luo in Godzilla's coat with surprise in his eyes. He didn't expect that in addition to the 9-tailed beasts, there is such a powerful force in this ninja world. Looking at the flying lightsaber, Uchiha Madara controlled Susanoo to put his hands together and took the lightsaber. You can stop this move, but what about this move? Chapter 206 10 Tails Jinchuriki Column Force. 6 Paths Madara. I saw Lei Luo in Godzilla's coat, opening his mouth, dark blue chakra condensed in his mouth, and then Lei Luo spit the chakra ball towards Uchiha Madara. Atomic Jade. Uchiha Madara looked at the atomic jade flying towards him and noticed the terrifying aura contained in it, but he was very confident in his Rinnegan. Seal of Sealing. I saw that the Rinnegan of Uchiha Madara kept spinning, absorbing the atomic jade, but the atomic jade had only shrunk twice, and the Rinnegan could no longer be absorbed. Boom. Atomic jade exploded. After the smoke cleared, only a large pit remained. Uchiha Madara felt that he could no longer absorb the atomic jade. He made a decisive decision and retreated, but after all, he did not escape the scope of the atomic jade explosion. However, the damage of the atomic jade that was absorbed is also much smaller. Uchiha Madara still blocked this move with Susanoo, but it was also not lightly injured. Cough cough cough. Uchiha Madara got up from the ground and couldn't help coughing a few times, a trace of blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. I underestimated you, your strength is no worse than Hashirama. Then Uchiha Madara stood up straight, reached out and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, stood up straight and said, however, my strength is more than that. Let you see my true strength. Boom. Uchiha Madara Rinnegan turned and summoned 10 tails directly. Now the 10 tails, which have successfully merged with the 9-tailed beasts, exudes a terrifying aura. 10 tails appeared, they attacked Lei Luo under the control of Uchiha Madara. 10 tails slammed towards Lei Luo overwhelmingly. But Lei Luo didn't dodge when he saw this, instead a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I'm going to see Godzilla who absorbed the dragon veins and 0 tails and you, 10 tails, think, which one is stronger? Thinking in his heart, Lei Luo directly entered the full-body tailed beast mode and transformed into Godzilla. The full body of Godzilla is no less imposing than 10 tails, and even has a tyrannical aura. Uchiha Madara watched Lei Luo transformed into Godzilla, his pupils shrank suddenly. What the hell is this? Boom. Lei Luo Godzilla swiped his claws and attacked the tail attacked by 10 tails. As the two clashed, a wave of air burst out. Ha ha ha. Lei Luo felt the feeling of the collision and couldn't help laughing out loud. It's been a long time since he fought with all his strength. This hearty feeling of power is really intoxicating. However, this is not my strongest mode. The vitality of 10 tails should be tenacious enough for me to add another strength. Thinking of this, Lei Luo once again attracted the power of the Buddha form of Renren fruit. The power of the Buddha form was integrated into the power of Godzilla, which made Lei Luo's body rise and grow again. Now Lei Luo is bigger than 10 tails. And Godzilla, the incarnation of Lei Luohua, who has integrated all his powers, does not have that tyrannical feeling, but makes people feel a kind of majesty and sacredness. The fierce and ferocious appearance has a sense of majesty and sacredness, which is really weird. Come and try this trick. Shockwave. With a terrifying power, the Godzilla Buddha swung his claws towards Ten Tails. Ten Tails waved his tail to resist, but was slapped away by this move. Boom! Ten Tails' body smashed to the ground, creating a huge pit. Roar! Ten Tails climbed up from the deep pit without any injuries, but was shot flying by Lei Luo, causing him to fall into a rage. After a roar, violent chakra surged out of Ten Tails' body, and Ten Tails entered another form. From the state of Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, to a monster with slender arms, slender legs and slanted eyes. At the same time, Uchiha Madara's face became even more ugly, and a violent sense of resistance came from his consciousness, and Ten Tails kept breaking free from his control. But he snorted coldly, and the power of movement suppressed Ten Tails' consciousness again. Then attacked Lei Luo again. I saw Ten Tails opened his huge mouth, as if he had transformed into a cannon, constantly spewing energy bullets at Lei Luo, but it was easily extinguished by Lei Luo's claws. Occasionally, there are a few fish that slip through the blockade of Lei Luo, and it is not painful or itchy to hit Lei Luo, and it has no effect. Ten Tails roared again and charged towards Lei Luo directly. Boom, boom, boom. The two terrifying beasts attacked each other for dozens of tricks. The ground shook and the battlefield was a mess. In the fierce battle, both giant beasts suffered indistinct injuries. But Godzilla outside of Lei Luo is only formed by chakra condensation, while Ten Tails is an entity. Boom! Ten Tails was blasted out by Lei Luo again, with large and small wounds appearing on his body, and blood kept dripping to the ground. Anguish fills Ten Tails' mind, making it even crazier. Then, Ten Tails changed again. Chakra constantly spewed out of Ten Tails' body. Ten Tails' body with thin arms and thin legs gradually became normal, then became strong, and finally became a muscular monster, and spit out a flower from his mouth. Flower. Looking at the current state of Ten Tails, it has become more and more like a tree. Sure enough, Ten Tails is the divine tree. Looking at the current state of Ten Tails, Lei Luo felt even more terrifying, but Lei Luo still didn't care. Because the current Big Buddha Godzilla is still not his strongest state. But Lei Luo can stand it, but Uchiha Madara can't stand it. Ten Tails' consciousness had reached its limit and could no longer be suppressed. Damn it! It seems that the Ten Tails must be merged now. I was thinking of using the Obito again, and then taking back the Rinnegan on him and then absorbing the Ten Tails. Now there is no time. Uchiha Madara knew that now he had to make a decision to incorporate the Ten Tails into his body and become the Ten Tails' Jinchuriki column force. Otherwise, once Ten Tails gets out of control, everything that has been done in the past will be in vain. Lei Luo, I have now admitted that you are stronger than Hashirama. However, it will still be me, Uchiha Madara, who will win this war in the end. As soon as he finished speaking, Lei Luo saw Uchiha Madara forming a series of complex handprints. Ten Tails seemed to be melted, and finally Uchiha Madara was continuously sucked into his body. 6 paths. Ten Tails sigil. With the absorption of Ten Tails' power completed, a white cloak appeared behind Uchiha Madara, and on the cloak was a mysterious pattern engraved with 6 paths Tomo. There are also several black balls revolving around him, which is the indestructible Gudodama truth-seeking ball. Out in one of the Gudodama truth-seeking ball transforms into a tin stick weapon. Ten Tails people Jinchuriki column force, Uchiha Madara, join. Chapter 207 6 Paths Madara vs Lei Luo. Uchiha Madara, no, it's time to change the title to 6 Paths Madara. 6 Paths Madara held a tin cane transformed by Gudodama truth-seeking ball, her body floated in the air, her expression was less arrogant, but more indifferent. 6 Paths Madara looked at Lei Luo and said lightly, Lei Luo, your strength is very good, but that's it. You never know how strong the 6 Paths level really is. I should have surpassed the 6 Paths immortal in strength now. 6 Paths Madara muttered to herself and said Lei Luo's name, but didn't take Lei Luo seriously. Lei Luo sneered when he heard Six Paths Madara's words. Sha insects can't speak ice, how can the frog at the bottom of the well know how vast the sky is outside the well? And Uchiha Madara is too self-righteous. His arrogance hurts him. No wonder he was played with such a thing as Black Zetsu and applauded. If I'm just a normal ninja in the Hokage world, there's really no chance of reaching the Six Paths level. But you never know how strong I am with the God-level lottery system. Lei Luo thought to himself, looking at Uchiha Madara's appearance. There was a hint of sarcasm in his eyes, as if he was watching a performance. The ending of the script is already doomed. Uchiha Madara is a tragedy after all. Even if he is now Six Paths Madara. Six Paths Madara noticed the sarcasm in Lei Luo's eyes, but he didn't care. Lei Luo was already like an ant in his eyes. Do humans care about the thoughts of the ants under their feet? The warm-up is over, Six Paths Madara said coldly to Lei Luo. As soon as the words fell, Six Paths Madara launched an attack, and a Gudodama truth-seeking ball beside him turned into a black thorn and appeared in front of Lei Luo in an instant. Although your speed is very fast, it is impossible to avoid Gudodama truth-seeking ball at this moment with your speed, just die. Six Paths Madara's eyes were full of icy coldness. But there was a smile on the corner of Lei Luo's mouth. The black thorn passed directly through Lei Luo's body, and then Lei Luo's figure slowly dissipated. It turned out to be just an afterimage. How is that possible? Six Paths Madara's expression finally changed, a little more surprised. Lei Luo's speed was 30% faster than when he was at full strength just now. This is not a slight improvement, a full 30%. What Six Paths Madara said was right. If it was at his previous speed, he really couldn't avoid this move. But he once got a very magical equipment from the system by lottery, Sharia's Rhapsody. Sharia's Rhapsody, from the League of Legends world, equipped with it can increase your chakra volume by 20%, and double the chakra recovery speed. But it also has an active skill that can increase its speed by 30% after use, lasts for 3 minutes, and cools down for 24 hours. The equipment of Sharia's Rhapsody has been lying in Lei Luo's system space all the time, and Lei Luo just used its passive bonus. The enemy he had encountered before, Lei Luo's speed was already fast enough that he didn't need to use it at all. And this time, it was the first time he used the active skills of this equipment, and the sudden increase of 30% speed saved his life. After all, Gudodama truth-seeking ball has an invincible quality. Of course, Lei Luo, who may be impaled by Gudodama truth-seeking ball, will not necessarily die, but he will not use his life to test whether the characteristics of Gudodama truth-seeking ball are true. Since Six Paths Madara had already attacked, Lei Luo naturally wouldn't just be beaten and run away, and attacked Six Paths Madara with a backhand. Although Lei Luo has now withdrawn from Godzilla mode and Buddha form, it does not mean that his strength has declined, but Lei Luo in this form is faster and more suitable for active attack. Breath of Water *8 Style *Takipot. Lei Luo's figure reappeared and came to the top of Six Paths Madara's head. Higher Inmaru in his hand slashed at Six Paths Madara with fierce power. When Gudodama truth-seeking ball, who was spinning beside Six Paths Madara, flew over to block Lei Luo's knife for Six Paths Madara, but Higher Inmaru, who collided with Gudodama truth-seeking ball, did not change the slightest. This makes Six Paths Madara doubt that his Gudodama truth-seeking ball is not fake. Doesn't it say that Gudodama truth-seeking ball can shatter everything it touches? And Lei Luo looked at the result, but he was very determined. Although this attack was blocked by Gudodama truth-seeking ball, Lei Luo also made sure that Higher Inmaru could block Gudodama truth-seeking ball's attack. Higher Inmaru, as Zanpakudo, is a weapon forged from the soul, not a material that exists in nature, and it is not difficult to understand that Gudodama truth-seeking ball cannot defeat it. One shot is not enough, then a few more shots. Lei Luo is running chakra, waving Higher Inmaru constantly, attacking 6 paths Madara from all angles. Breath of Water * 3 styles * Lulu dance. I saw that 6 paths Madara seemed to be surrounded by Lei Luo, with Lei Luo's figure in every direction beside him. Gudodama truth-seeking ball shuttled back and forth to resist Lei Luo's attack. Breath of Water * pickup style * circulation. Higher Inmaru in Lei Luo's hands kept slashing towards 6 paths Madara, and the body also kept turning with Higher Inmaru. Each time it turned, the speed and power of the next knife would increase by 1 point. When the sound of gold and iron clashing constantly sounded, Lei Luo's speed and power became stronger and stronger, and Gudodama truth-seeking ball had already formed a phantom in flight, so he could barely block Lei Luo's attack. But 6 paths Madara was suppressed by Lei Luo's knife, and it was difficult to counterattack. 6 paths Madara finally put away the contempt in her heart and faced its Lei Luo again. Crack. Finally, a Gudodama truth-seeking ball had a crack after taking the knife from Lei Luo. The crisp click sound is so clear in the ears of Lei Luo and 6 paths Madara. 6 paths Madara's face suddenly became ugly, and this Gudodama truth-seeking ball didn't know if he could take a few more cuts from Lei Luo, and it might even shatter with the next strike. Lei Luo laughed, and the Higher Inmaru in his hand continued to chop down. The feeling of this mad attack made him feel hearty. It can't go on like this. And even took the initiative to detonate a Gudodama truth-seeking ball, interrupting Lei Luo's sword and forcing him back. You are really nice. I will give you one last chance. If you agree to surrender to me and help me complete the plan together, I can spare your life. 6 paths Madara said coldly to Lei Luo. Hee, shameless. I don't know who was beaten by me just now. You still want me to surrender to you? Lei Luo sneered unceremoniously. Humph. Then you die. I saw 6 paths Madara Rinnegan spinning suddenly, and the terrifying pupil power poured out. Limbo. Border Jail. Chapter 208 Infinite Tsukuyomi. Just when 6 paths Madara used Limbo. Border Jail, Lei Luo had just stood still because of the Gudodama truth-seeking ball explosion and was forced to retreat. At this moment, the hair on Lei Luo's body suddenly exploded, and a sense of crisis spread all over his body. Lei Luo didn't have time to think about it. Although he didn't know where the attack came from, he naturally had his own way of dealing with it. When I saw a ding, Lei Luo instantly turned into a golden figure, completely integrated. It is the use of Zangya Hourglass. This 2.5 seconds of invincibility is enough to help him dodge this deadly attack. And while Lei Luo turned on Zangya's Hourglass, the 5 Vision Omnipotence was also turned on. Through his omnipotent ability, Lei Luo finally saw what was attacking him. A transparent shadow, even under the observation of the 5 Vision Omnipotent, is difficult to find if one does not look carefully. Lei Luo finally understood that 6 paths Madara used Limbo, Border Jail. Fortunately, Madara only has one Sharingan now, and Limbo, Border Jail, can only release one of its own shadows. If it was a double-eyed Rinnegan, it would be able to summon 4 full shadows, making it even more difficult to deal with. But now that this shadow has been successfully discovered, it is easy to deal with it. Just when Lei Luo was thinking, 6 paths Madara burst into anger. 6 paths Madara confidently used Limbo, Border Jail, believing that Lei Luo was bound to die by this move. After all, the shadow of Limbo's world cannot be seen and felt. But I didn't expect that at the moment when the shadow hit Lei Luo turned into an inexplicable golden man, who was completely unscathed in the face of the shadow's attack. Is this also his ability to escape? After all, the ability to get close to the golden man is only light escape, and 6 paths Madara's information on Lei Luo is only so far. After all, although Lei Luo used the Zangya Hourglass, he never took it out of the system space in front of anyone to reveal it. However, Uchiha Madara immediately regained her composure. The shadow of her own limbo world is invisible. Lei Luo's invincible ability must not last. As long as his ability disappears, the shadow can attack again. But he didn't know that Lei Luo possessed a magical emperor that was not found in this world. The 5-vision omnipotent can just detect the outline of his shadow. Just when Zhangya's hourglass invincibility time ended and the golden color on Lei Luo's body retreated, Six Paths Madara controlled the shadow of Limbo's world to attack Lei Luo again. But Lei Luo waved Hirenmaru to block the shadow's attack directly. Just when the shadow attacked, Six Paths Madara's body naturally couldn't stand there in a daze. Senpo, Sage Art. The Thunder Sect. In an instant, countless dark purple lightning spewed out from the hands of Six Paths Madara, overwhelming the sky, like a catastrophe, and attacked Lei Luo. Covered by countless thunder and lightning, Lei Luo is like Heian struggling in a thunderstorm. The light in the field is constantly flickering, dodging one after another of lightning. Boom, boom, boom. Lei Luo had turned into a piece of scorched earth, and there was also a trace of thunderlight on the earth, and several arcs flickered from time to time, crackling. And Limbo's shadow took the opportunity to attack again. Lei Luo also knew that he couldn't dodge like this, he had to launch a counterattack. Humph, are you the only one who can use Sage Art? I want to see who is stronger between your Six Paths Sage Art and my Sanxian Lu Sage Art. Lei Luo snorted coldly, and immediately activated the Sage Art chakra in his body, instantly entering Sage mode. In an instant, a golden eye shadow appeared on Lei Luo's eye sockets, and on top of the golden eye shadow, there was a little bit of fluorescence that looked like a rainbow. Senpo, Sage Art. Light Escape. Resist Halo. A golden halo spread out with Lei Luo as the center, and the dark purple Senpo, Sage Art Yin Lei that rushed towards Lei Luo were annihilated in the collision with the halo. Then the light flashed, and Lei Luo's figure appeared in the sky. Senpo, Sage Art. Light Escape. 8-foot Joan Tomo. Countless golden Tomo was released from Lei Luo's hands and blasted towards Six Paths Madara. Six Paths Madara didn't dare to underestimate Lei Luo's attack after fighting against Lei Luo for so long. Look at this golden Tomo in the sky, hand seal in the hands of Six Paths Madara. Senpo, Sage Art. Gale Style, Storm Style, Hikari Kiba. I saw a dark purple Gale Style, Storm Style light sprayed from the mouth of Six Paths Madara. Gale Style, Storm Style light swept across, and the golden Tomo released by Lei Luo dissipated. I didn't expect that you, who are best at Kaden, Fire Style, use Sage Art instead of Raiden, Thunder Style. It's really funny. Looking at Six Paths Madara's attack, Lei Luo still has the heart to make fun of the comments here. Then let you taste the power of my flame. Senpo, Sage Art. Light Escape. Burning Heaven. Under the Sage mode of the three immortals, the Fentian used by Lei Luo was finally worthy of his name. The golden sea of fire filled the sky, and there was a terrifying temperature hidden under the dazzling light, just like the real fire of the flame sun, the real name of the legendary three-legged golden crow. Covered by this terrifying flame, the earth began to dry up and crack. Bearing the brunt of the Six Paths Madara, she felt like she had jumped into the surging magma in the crater. Then the skin of the body began to dry and crack, and the cracked skin just shed a trace of blood before it was instantly evaporated again. If this goes on like this, Six Paths Madara will be a mummy before long. Oh, no way. You can only use this trick in advance. Under the high temperature, Six Paths Madara felt that his consciousness was a little dazed. Although it was not the most suitable time, he could only use this trick directly now. He had a feeling that if he fought against Lei Luo again, he would definitely lose. When I saw Six Paths Madara running chakra and continuously releasing ninjutsu to block the sea of fire coming to him, Rinnegan started to spin at the same time. Like a desperate gamble, Six Paths Madara poured out all of her pupil power. Infinite Tsukuyomi. Six Paths Madara rose from the ground and rushed through the golden sea of fire in an instant. The burns on his body were miserable, but he had no time to feel them. Six Paths Madara's body kept getting close to the moon. Under the reflection of the moon, Six Paths Madara's forehead cracked a gap in the middle, and then a new eye appeared in it. This eye has a Rinnegan like Uzumaki, and it also has 9 spinning tomo in it. It is Samsara Sharingan. Then Six Paths Madara bit Kiba and poured out the pupil power of Samsara Sharingan, reflecting it on the moon. Boom! A mysterious wave spreads from the moon. Infinite Tsukuyomi succeeds. Chapter 209 Black Zetsu's Shot. With the use of Infinite Tsukuyomi, the moon released a wide range of light, and the whole world was illuminated like day, and all creatures irradiated by the light were attracted. The whole ninja world was pulled into the demonic illusion of Infinite Tsukuyomi. The allied ninja forces that were fighting against the White Zetsu Corps and Akatsuki members also stopped immediately. Originally, the current Ninja World Coalition army is much higher than the Akatsuki and White Zetsu Coalition forces, such as Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato and so on. Although compared with the original book, the Ninja World Alliance lacks the powerful Hokage of the 2 impure world reincarnations, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama, but Akatsuki also does not have the impure world reincarnation army and the White Zetsu army that is nearly half less. Seeing that the allied Ninja World Army has the upper hand, the ending of Akatsuki and White Zetsu Corps can already be predicted. At this time, all of them are suddenly pulled into Infinite Tsukuyomi. Jiraiya was still preparing to release ninjutsu from Hand Seal, but now she maintains a funny posture of pouting her butt and puffing her mouth, and naturally the ninjutsu failed. Now the creatures in the ninja world that are shrouded in the light of the moon have the state of Rinnegan in their eyes, lose their self-consciousness, and cannot move their bodies. Six Paths Madara was still suspended in the air, looking at Infinite Tsukuyomi who had successfully performed a successful cast. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Then he handed the hand seal. God! Deep forest emergence. Countless trees rose from the ground, wrapping the people in the ninja world, and constantly absorbing their chakra. But after all, there are still 2 people who are not controlled by Infinite Tsukuyomi. One is Lei Luo, who has Conqueror's Haki and Zanpakuto to guard his soul, and demonic illusion is immune to him. And the trees that Six Paths Madara summoned through, God, deep forest emergence, and wrapped towards him have also been easily cut off by him. But Lei Luo looked at the Six Paths Madara in the sky and did not attack immediately, because this Infinite Tsukuyomi is not only the purpose of Uchiha Madara, but also what he is waiting for. And he is still waiting for a shot, that is, Black Zetsu, who has been lurking in the dark and will not be affected by Infinite Tsukuyomi. Six Paths Madara, who successfully completed the plan, slowly fell from the sky to the ground, and Lei Luo, who was not controlled by Infinite Tsukuyomi, no longer cared. Because the absorbed chakras from others were continuously coming to him, the feeling of this endless surge of power made him feel very good. Whoosh! Six Paths Madara suddenly disappeared in front of Lei Luo. Moments later, when Six Paths Madara reappeared, Rinnegan was a full pair. Now that the plan has been completed, Rinnegan from Uchiha Obito has been taken back by him. Although there have been many episodes in the middle, the result has not changed. Lei Luo, it's time for you to hit the road. Six Paths Madara said coldly looking at Lei Luo. Now has a complete pair of Rinnegan, and above the forehead and eyebrows, the power of Six Paths Madara, who has awakened 9 Tomo Samsara Sharingan, has reached its peak. Lei Luo took a deep breath after listening to Six Paths Madara's words, and took a defensive posture. If Black Zetsu didn't make a move, he would have to make a move. But after killing Six Paths Madara, Kagaya can't be resurrected. But he still has a system task that has not been completed. If Kagaya can be successfully conquered, it will have 3 god-level lottery points. But Black Zetsu did not disappoint Lei Luo after all. Just when Six Paths Madara focused on Lei Luo, Black Zetsu was already hiding under Six Paths Madara's feet, but Six Paths Madara didn't find it. Of course, it is also possible that Madara has already discovered it, but he doesn't care, because in his cognition, Black Zetsu is the incarnation of his own will, and it is impossible to shoot himself. Six Paths Madara looked at Lei Luo and said, I won't let you do anything again. I have successfully cut off the cause and effect of this world, and cut off the suffering, pain and emptiness of people. Lei Luo just stared straight at Six Paths Madara and didn't answer. Six Paths Madara didn't care, and continued, Lei Luo, do you think you are saving everyone? You are just hindering everyone's happiness. Then Six Paths Madara looked up, looked at Yuhi's moon reflecting the 9 Tomo's and said, look, what a beautiful world where all ninjas don't fight anymore. I've turned hell into heaven. The mistakes Hashirama made are finally corrected by me. Lei Luo smiled when he heard the words, Black Zetsu's action should be said to be a success. Uchiha Madara will die again soon, how can I chat with him for a few words? So Lei Luo asked, oh, is that so? I don't know what was wrong with the original Hokage Lord. Six Paths Madara laughed and replied, you Konoha ninjas wouldn't admit it, but in the end Hashirama has indeed failed. In the beginning, Hashirama and I had the same goal in terms of changing the ninja world, and we started the action together. We want to change the world of ninjas where even young children have to go to battle. Listening to what Six Paths Madara said, Lei Luo admired his ambition, but the problem is that he was deceived. Six Paths Madara continued, the two of us built a ninja village, but that didn't bring true peace. People simply can't be honest with each other. Fear, doubt, hate. These are impossible to stop. My claim was dismissed and the ninja world moved towards Hashirama's ideal. But what happened after that? The battle between ninjas has not stopped. Not only did it not stop, but the establishment of Shinobi Village enabled the military to increase, and the battle expanded to a scale that could be called a major war, with countless casualties. The first ninja war, the second ninja war, and the third ninja war you participated in yourself, the war never stopped. This is the ninja world that Hashirama created. Lei Luo nodded in his heart upon hearing this. What Madara said was indeed the truth, and the future of the ninja world conceived by Senju Hashirama was too idealistic. Years of planning have been completed, and Six Paths Madara continues to talk to Lei Luo as if to talk. But in the end, this fourth ninja war was planned and provoked by me. But now everyone is dreaming of happiness in the Tree of Gods, and they all live in their ideal world. Lei Luo sighed and said, but, this is just a false dream after all. Six Paths Madara said, but in the ninja's long history of warfare, I was the savior who eliminated the fight. Accept reality. It's all over. As soon as the words fell, Six Paths Madara was pierced by a black hand, and it was Black Zetsu who shot. Chapter 210 Otsutsuki Kagaya. Wrong, Madara. You're not the savior, and it's not over yet. Black Zetsu's dark voice came from behind Six Paths Madara. Can't move. Six Paths Madara struggled to get over his body, only to find that he lost control of all parts of his body except his eyes. Black Zetsu continued, you think you are the one who can take advantage of everything. Don't you find it funny to think that you are the only one who is different? Madara, you are actually in an illusory dream. That's the dream I painted for you. Six Paths Madara resisted the pain that came from her heart and asked in a hoarse voice. Black Zetsu, what are you talking about? I created you, and you are my will. Black Zetsu couldn't help laughing when he heard Six Paths Madara's words. Hey. You're also wrong, my will is Otsutsuki Kagaya. Lei Luo stood up straight and looked at the scene in front of him. Everything was what he expected. Black Zetsu's millennial plan is for today. Everything he did was to bring Otsutsuki Kagaya back to life. And the resurrection of Otsutsuki Kagaya is just the premise for Lei Luo to complete the task. Lei Luo can't wait for the rich reward of the task of reversing fate. Under the control of Black Zetsu, the tree that binds the ninja increases the absorption of chakra, and it is integrated into the body of Six Paths Madara far and wide. Ah! Six Paths Madara couldn't help crying out mournfully, and the shadow of the limbo border jail cast by his Rinnegan also dissipated. The black magic mark spread from Black Zetsu's hands covered Six Paths Madara's body, and in the state of continuous influx of chakra, Six Paths Madara's body quickly swelled up. It was like an inflated balloon, but the flesh tissue was constantly twisting and dissolving, leaving only one head intact. When Black Zetsu resurrected Kagaya, Lei Luo was looking around the battlefield, observing the state of the people wrapped in trees, but it was just out of curiosity. But Black Zetsu got it wrong. He thought that Lei Luo was worried about the safety of the ninjas of the Ninja Union Army. So Black Zetsu said to Lei Luo, "Don't worry, these people won't die." Kagaya used infinite Tsukuyomi on people and kept them alive in order to produce Kagaya's army. Ordinary humans are not suitable for combat, and only by making them into white Zetsu can they become qualified soldiers. The ultimate fate of those who have been hit by infinite Tsukuyomi is to become white Zetsu. Lei Luo already knew about these things, and he also knew that white Zetsu didn't become instantly. As long as he could defeat or subdue Kagaya, this infinite Tsukuyomi would naturally be unlocked. These ninjas are just like having a dream, and there is no serious problem. Six Paths Madara could not accept what Black Zetsu said. The only remaining head looked at Black Zetsu and asked, "Black Zetsu, what are you talking about?" Infinite Tsukuyomi is Uchiha's jutsu to bring eternal peace to the ninja world. Black Zetsu smiled and asked, "Hehe, what's your basis for saying this?" Six Paths Madara replied hoarsely, "Six Paths Immortal recorded this on the stone tablet. The stone tablet says." He. Black Zetsu laughed as if he had heard something interesting. "Madara, you have to know that I've outlived you for a long, long time. I have plenty of time to find and correct the steel that Hagoromo left behind." Six Paths Madara's pupils shrank suddenly. "Correction." Black Zetsu continued, "That's right. Infinite Tsukuyomi is not actually a spell to give people a peaceful dream, but to concentrate the chakra that everyone has and make it huge." Black Zetsu's words made Six Paths Madara tremble constantly. Madara struggled hard and wanted to turn her head to look at Black Zetsu. "Why do this? Everything you do is for that." Then Six Paths Madara let out a low sigh. "I did that kind of thing with my Kagaya's will." Black Zetsu replied with a smile, "Just as you treat Obito as a chess piece, you are actually just a chess piece." Six Paths Madara wanted to say something, but there was no chance. Chakra is still pouring in, and now the head is beginning to swell. Why on earth? Hashirama, where did I go wrong? In the end, only these two questions remained in Six Paths Madara's mind, and he lost consciousness permanently. Uchiha Madara's body had completely dissolved into a black liquid, and after the transformation was completed, the enormously swollen body began to shrink. Black Zetsu also merged into the black liquid, and at this time Lei Luo found a body falling from the air. It turned out to be Uchiha Obito. Unexpectedly, Black Zetsu was actually manipulating Obito's body to activate this technique just now. Obito is really pitiful. It can be said that he was drained of the last available value. After all, it turned out to be a classmate, and with a flash of light, Lei Luo caught Obito's body and took him away from the battlefield. Then, the black liquid finally condensed to the final stage. Boom! A powerful aura spread, and Otsutsuki Kagaya was resurrected. Otsutsuki Kagaya has pale skin and long blue-white hair, no eyebrows, but a truly beautiful face. He has two horns on his head and wears a white coat with a unique tomo pattern. His eyes are Byakugan, and between his eyebrows is a 9-tomo Sharingan. After tens of thousands of nights, the chakra that spread to ordinary people, finally today when the seal of humiliation was released, under the guidance of the infinite moonlight, attached to me and became one with me again. Wake up! Lord of Chakra, Almighty God! Under the call of Black Zetsu, Otsutsuki Kagaya finally regained consciousness and suddenly opened his eyes. Lei Luo stood below and looked up at Otsutsuki Kagaya in the sky, and found that she was even more beautiful than in the original anime. Well, it seems that my task is to choose to subdue her. As long as I conquer her, I will be the ancestor of the whole ninja world. This wave is not a loss. But Otsutsuki Kagaya sensed Lei Luo's gaze. Seeing her frown, she directly attacked Lei Luo. The fluttering white hair behind him suddenly stretched out and tied it directly towards Lei Luo. With a flash of light, Lei Luo dodged Otsutsuki Kagaya's long hair in an instant, and then shouted at Kagaya. "Fuck, is it so exciting? Are you sober? You want to play bondage as soon as you come up, do you ask my permission?" Otsutsuki Kagaya listened to Lei Luo's words, not quite sure what it meant, but also knew that it was not a good word. So he controlled the long hair behind him to lengthen again, and attacked Lei Luo again. Chapter 211-Heavens Royal. Lava Space. Facing Kagaya's long hair this time, Lei Luo didn't dodge. I saw that Lei Luo's right hand was empty, and Higher Inmaru appeared in his hand. Breath of Water *1 form *water surface / Higher Inmaru drew an arc in the air, cutting off Kagaya's long hair. "Who are you?" Otsutsuki Kagaya looked directly at Lei Luo and asked, while her body slowly fell from the air to the ground. Then I saw Otsutsuki Kagaya's eyes burst with blue veins, opened by a Kugan, and observed the flow of chakra in Lei Luo's body. What is this? In Otsutsuki Kagaya's eyes, Lei Luo's chakra flow in the body is clearly visible. Kagaya was surprised because she saw a completely different chakra at the location of Lei Luo's heart. Hot and violent, full of danger. This is clearly not something that should exist in this world. But it doesn't matter. Ninja? No, it should be called a ninja. I have nothing to say to people like you who don't understand the meaning of chakra at all and only play around at will. Here, this land, is my precious nursery and can't let it hurt anymore. End the fight. It's right here, annihilate you. Soon as Kagaya finished speaking, the environment around Lei Luo changed in an instant. The whole body turned into a fire Yamanaka, and there was surging lava under his feet. Although the sudden change of the scene caught Lei Luo by surprise, he calmed down immediately and knew where he was. This can't be demonic illusion, even Kagaya, I should be immune to her demonic illusion. This should be the space opened up by Kagaya's reincarnation Sharingan, SI technique, Heaven's Royal Palace. The Royal Palace of Heaven is the ability to weave space freely. It is the power of supernatural powers after the first ancestor of chakra opened his eyes, which is a technique that can only be used by Otsutsuki Kagaya who has reincarnation Sharingan. Using the Sky Royal, you can transfer yourself and the people around you to other spaces in an instant. The spaces that can be moved include lava, ice, supergravity, sand, acid and other spaces. And these 5 spaces are directly connected to the starting ball space. In the starting ball space, Kagaya can absorb the chakra of the person in infinite Tsukuyomi to restore and improve his strength. And the space where he is now is obviously the lava space in the Imperial Palace. Feeling the body falling continuously, and seeing that the magma below was getting closer and closer, Lei Luo did not panic. Bankai. Higher Inmaru in Lei Luo's hands directly entered the Bankai state and became the big Yuhi Lotus Higher Inmaru. Frost wings appeared behind Lei Luo, took him to fly, and conveyed a cold breath to him, making him feel more comfortable in this unbearably hot lava space. Otsutsuki Kagaya looked at the frosty wings that appeared behind Lei Luo with a hint of surprise on his face. But she was just a little surprised. Woo! Kagaya's white hair turned into countless flying needles, detached from the body, like a thorny rainstorm, poured down towards Lei Luo, and cooperated with Kagaya to open to Byakugan. The positions attacked by the white-haired flying needles were all acupuncture points. As long as the white-haired flying needle is pierced into the body, chakra will be sealed, lose the ability to resist, and let her be slaughtered. But this move is not a threat to Lei Luo, but it should not be underestimated. Then Lei Luo directly activated the Sage Art chakra in his body, and instantly entered the Three Immortals Sage mode. Senpo, Sage Art. Light Escape. Golden Light Shield. The Sage Art light in the body spewed out chakra, and condensed into a light barrier in front of him, which seemed weak, but was indestructible. Otsutsuki Kagaya were blocked, and then fell powerlessly, falling into the magma below, and being burned to ashes. Lei Luo, Golden Light Shield, was not easy to develop at the beginning. After all, light has no form and no form. Unlike water, earth, wind, fire and thunder, these 5 attributes can be borrowed naturally and easier to develop. But for Lei Luo, who lacks defensive ninjutsu, this is a ninjutsu that must be developed. In the end, it was Lei Luo who had a flash of inspiration and remembered an ability he had known about in his previous life, the Golden Light spell inherited by the Tianshifu in the world under one person. Heaven and Earth Xuanzong, the root of Wan Qi. Cultivating thousands of kalpas and proving my supernatural powers. Inside and outside the 3 realms, the Tao is the only one. The body has golden light, reflecting my body. This is how he successfully developed this ninjutsu technique. Otsutsuki Kagaya saw that his attack was successfully blocked by Lei Luo, and then charged directly towards Lei Luo. I want to bring chakra together again. 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. I saw Otsutsuki Kagaya condense the chakra in the palm of his hand, and instantly threw countless punches, slamming towards Lei Luo like a asterisk. Fuck, you have to gather chakras and come to me separately, my chakras are not from you. If you want to be one with me, I'll gladly accept it. Lei Luo didn't care about Otsutsuki Kagaya's attack, and even had the intention to continue a few words. Otsutsuki Kagaya didn't reply, but his eyes became a little sharper, and his attack became more swift. But Lei Luo felt a little happy watching Otsutsuki Kagaya's attack. It's been a long time since he had a hearty physical showdown. However, it should be difficult to resist Kagaya's attack based on the current state of taijutsu alone, but in this state, it is not necessarily so. The 8 inner gates open. Open the door. Close the door, live the door, hurt the door, do door, Jingmun, Jingmun. Open them all to me. Boom. A powerful aura gushed out from Lei Luo's body. This one-time opening to 7 doors, plus the blessing of the 3 Immortals Sage mode, should be enough to suppress Kagaya in physical skills. Day Tiger. Lei Luo threw a straight punch, and the air was compressed by Lei Luo's fist wind, forming a tiger-shaped air bomb, which instantly blasted towards Otsutsuki Kagaya's 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. Boom! A strong shock wave spread, and Lei Luo was forced back a short distance by the shock wave. The magma under his feet surged even more violently, but Lei Luo had a smile on his face. Because he was very sure that he definitely won the fight just now. Sure enough, a small scar appeared on Otsutsuki Kagaya's face, and a trace of blood flowed out. I'm sorry for hurting you, but this state is not good enough, you have to be beaten. Although Lei Luo's body is very strong, the opening of the 8 inner gates directly to the 7th gate still puts a lot of pressure on him, and this state cannot last forever. So in the next second, Lei Luo volleyed out with one leg, and driven by the wind, a violent tornado appeared, and continued to attack Otsutsuki Kagaya with lava. Konoha Dragon God. Chapter 212-Fairy Godzilla vs Kagaya. Lei Luo kicked this kick, he thought of his first teacher, Chen Baojun. It was he who taught Lei Luo body techniques at the beginning, which laid a solid foundation for Lei Luo, and this trick, Konoha Dragon God, is a stunt developed by teacher Chen. But now, teacher Chen has passed away, and his soul has returned to the underworld. In this cruel ninja world, being able to live to the end of life is already a kind of perfection. Lei Luo heard the news of teacher Chen's death, he also had the idea of resurrecting him. However, the light of his awakening can only be resurrected, and it cannot restore youth. For teacher Chen's age, resurrecting him is just to make the old man suffer, and it is meaningless. Besides, Mr. Chen's family is harmonious, with many children and grandchildren, and this life has been very fulfilling. Lei Luo came to Otsutsuki Kagaya with the magma wrapped in it. Kagaya's face didn't change, and he raised his hand to absorb the tornado directly. Yes, Kagaya also has the same ability to absorb various spells and energies as Madara, and based on Kagaya's chakra volume, the upper limit of her absorption is much higher than Madara. Looking at this scene, Lei Luo thought to himself. At this moment, Lei Luo discovered that the figure of Otsutsuki Kagaya had disappeared. Not good. Lei Luo turned back immediately, but he felt like he was carrying a heavy weight, and it was difficult to twist his body. This time Lei Luo was convinced that Kagaya really appeared behind him. And Lei Luo also remembered what ability Kagaya was using. Yomatsu Hirasaka, Book of Arrays, commented, "In less than an instant, I appeared from the gate of Hades." Kagaya who uses this technique has the ability to travel freely in space, opening a black portal out of thin air, allowing the practitioner to travel in the same space, or to freely enter and exit between the real space and the different space. This technique can be used to attack, shorten the distance of long-range ninjutsu, disrupt and surprise opponents, and can also be used to evade and escape in critical situations. It does not require a hand seal when activated. Kagaya can use this spell even while in Byakugan state. And this immobilization effect is an unknown technique. In the original work, Yomatsu Hirasaka performed a technique on Naruto and two Jinchuriki column sons. But no matter what technique it is related to chakra, and Lei Luo also thought of a way to break the game, which is to use alien energy. So Lei Luo directly activated the power of Godzilla in his body and entered the Godzilla coat mode. This is the first time that Lei Luo has used Godzilla's coat in Sanxianliu Sage mode. I didn't expect this power to be successfully integrated. The new Godzilla coat is no longer the dark blue armor it used to be, but a dazzling golden color, which feels like a galaxy. And when Lei Luo successfully entered Godzilla's coat mode, he regained control of his body. So Lei Luo disappeared instantly, dodging Otsutsuki Kagaya's attack. Turning back, Lei Luo looked at the weapon in Kagaya's hand and broke out in a cold sweat. I rely on. It turned out to be all-killing ash bones. This technique is one of Kagaya's nirvana skills. As long as it is touched, it will be wiped out. The so-called all-killing ash bones is a technique that changes the composition of the bones and turns them into tough weapons. The bones are shot from the palm of the hand, and the body of the person who is stabbed by the bones will gradually collapse like the impure world reincarnation. This technique is similar to Kimamaro's Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, but far more dangerous. Because Kimamaro's Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, itself is an ability from the Kagaya bloodline, and it is a weakened version that has been passed down from generation to generation. Otsutsuki Kagaya looked at the galaxy version of Godzilla's coat outside Lei Luo's body, and there was a hint of confusion in her eyes, because in her impression, she had never seen this ability before, and it was definitely not something that should exist in this world. Who the hell are you? You're definitely not from this world. Otsutsuki Kagaya controlled all killing ash bones to stop, pointed at Lei Luo, and asked coldly. Lei Luo smiled and replied, "Hee, guess what?" At this time, black Zetsu flowed out of Otsutsuki Kagaya's sleeve and said to Kagaya, "Mom, this guy is also a ninja, but he has the limit of light and blood that has never appeared in the ninja world." Otsutsuki Kagaya listened to Black Zetsu's words and shook her head gently. She knew that Lei Luo's identity was definitely not that simple. Lei Luo also heard Black Zetsu's words and said, "Black Zetsu is right, I'm just an ordinary ninja with special bloodstain boundaries. I don't know what Otsutsuki Momoshiki, Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Otsutsuki Ura style or anything like that." When Otsutsuki Kagaya heard these three names, a trace of panic flashed in his eyes. This was the first time in 1,000 years that he heard the names of these three people in the ninja world. Thousands of years ago, when people in the ancient times of the ninja world did not know the true conclusion of chakra, there were already wars. One day, the Otsutsuki family planted a sacred tree. In order to provide nutrients to the sacred tree, the Otsutsuki family sent Kagaya to the earth to cultivate the sacred tree by absorbing the power of the earth and the human spirit. And let Kagaya guard the sacred tree that only bears fruit once in 1,000 years, but also continue to provide chakra to the Otsutsuki family. After the chakra fruit matures, the Otsutsuki family will send Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Arashi to the earth to collect the sacred tree fruit, and welcome Kagaya back to the alien planet. But then Kagaya devoured the fruit of the god tree, and naturally it was impossible to return it to the family, and he had a supreme status in the ninja world, and he did not want to return to another planet. Because Kagaya was afraid that the Otsutsuki family would notice that he was stealing the fruit of the god tree, he used infinite Tsukuyomi to create a large number of living weapons, white Zetsu, to deal with Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashi who came later. But after so many years, Kagaya has matured a lot, so there is only a little panic. Then Otsutsuki Kagaya stared coldly at Lei Luo and said, "Although I don't know how you got the news about those 3 people, as long as I absorb the chakra from you and the White Zetsu Legion from the Jonin world, I'm not afraid. Those 3 people. Just hand over chakra obediently and become one with me." Lei Luo sighed and said, "It seems that this battle is unavoidable. You woman is really stubborn and short-sighted. You just want to absorb my chakra, have you never thought about cooperation?" Otsutsuki Kagaya snorted coldly and replied, "Cooperation? There is no one worthy of my trust in this ninja world, and no one is qualified to cooperate with me." After listening to Kagaya's words, Lei Luo also understood Kagaya's thoughts. After all, at the beginning, she was for the sake of the child and was the enemy of the ninja world, but in the end she was sealed by her own son, presumably at that time she lost the possibility of trusting others. Otsutsuki Kagaya finished speaking. He had no intention of talking with Lei Luo anymore. The next second, Lei Luo found that the space he was in had changed again. Chapter 213 Hypergravity Space. Start ball space. Boom. Lei Luo in Fairy Godzilla's coat mode smashed straight down from the air and smashed into the ground. However, because of the protection of the external Fairy Godzilla's coat, Lei Luo was not injured. Ho ho. Lei Luo struggled to stand up straight, feeling the terrifying pressure coming from his body. Lei Luo understood exactly what the space he was in was now. This is the hypergravity space in the space controlled by Otsutsuki Kagaya. Then Lei Luo saw that a Gudodama truth-seeking ball suddenly appeared beside Kagaya in front. Unlike Uchiha Madara's Gudodama truth-seeking ball, this Gudodama truth-seeking ball was significantly larger. Inflated Gudodama truth-seeking ball. Swelling Gudodama truth-seeking ball in the book of arrays that Lei Luo had read in his previous life, was evaluated as, and quote, seal the power of Shinra Bansho all creation and summon the dark sphere of chaos. It can destroy all properties, return the world to nothingness, and also the starting point of a new space. This is the Gudodama truth-seeking ball that Otsutsuki Kagaya ingested the chakra of the ninjas captured by the sacred tree, and maximized it. It is the same object as the black ball behind Uchiha Madara in 6 Paths mode, but the size is completely incomparable in size. The 5 elements, yin and yang, are all swallowed together, hiding the power to return the world to nothing, a huge block of chaos. Whoosh. Under Kagaya's control, the swelling Gudodama truth-seeking ball charged directly towards Lei Luo. Although Lei Luo is now in the Godzilla mode, he doesn't dare to pick up the pervert thing like the inflated Gudodama truth-seeking ball. The right hand is empty, and the higher Inmaru, which has become huge and in line with the current body shape, appears in his hands. He blocked the attack of the inflated Gudodama truth-seeking ball. Ah! But this time, Lei Luo shuddered instantly. An indescribable pain spread throughout his body, as if his soul had been torn apart, causing him to cry out. Due to the severe pain, Lei Luo's body suddenly hunched up, causing him to exit the Godzilla mode directly, and he couldn't help falling to his knees. Hoo hoo hoo. Lei Luo was breathing heavily. The pain finally eased a lot, and looking down, he found that there was a small gap on the higher Inmaru in his hand. Higher Inmaru is integrated with his soul. Higher Inmaru is damaged. No wonder there is a severe pain from the soul. Lei Luo originally thought that Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, would not be able to damage higher Inmaru, but he did not expect that this swollen Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, is not only bigger in size, but also has an effect on this kind of soul metamorphosis. If he had known earlier, Lei Luo wouldn't be stupid enough to pick it up. Looks like this higher Inmaru can't be used anymore. It can't be delayed any longer. It seems to be resolved as soon as possible. Lei Luo got up from the ground, entered the Sage mode again, and this time directly entered the full-body Godzilla mode. This state should be called Godzilla Fairy. Lei Luo didn't want to talk to Kagaya anymore and attacked Kagaya directly. Void Walk. Although this is the space controlled by Kagaya's Heavenly Imperial Palace, Lei Luo's Void Walk can still discover the various nodes that exist in this space. When the Godzilla Sage Lei Luo appeared again, he had already appeared behind Otsutsuki Kagaya, and then directly attacked Kagaya with his claws. Boom! Lei Luo slapped the ground with a paw, and in an instant, a deep pit appeared on the ground, rubble flying around, and smoke and dust lingered. And Otsutsuki Kagaya felt the fierce claw wind behind him when Lei Luo was waving his claws, so he also instantly escaped into the space, dodging Lei Luo's claws, leaving him in the air. Then, when Otsutsuki Kagaya appeared again, he controlled the expansion Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, to attack Lei Luo. Lei Luo has already suffered a loss on the expansive Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, and naturally he will not go to hard pick again. Senpo, Sage Art. Atomic Jade. Godzilla Fairy Lei Luo opened his huge mouth, a terrifying breath condensed in his mouth, and this time he also added Sage Art chakra to it. Then the Godzilla Sage Lei Luo suddenly vomited, and an energy ball flashing in 3 colors of gold, Yuhi and blue charged directly towards the expanding Gudodama, truth-seeking ball. When the swelling Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, and Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade collided, Otsutsuki Kagaya's face changed suddenly. She felt the chakra in her body gushing out from her body as if it were opening the gate and releasing water, replenishing it into the swollen Gudodama, truth-seeking ball. But it still didn't overwhelm Lei Luo's Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade. Under the collision, Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, and Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade exploded together. Boom! A violent shock wave spread out, feeling that the entire space was shaking, and the ground beneath my feet was constantly shaking. Otsutsuki Kagaya felt the fluctuations in this space, and the pupil power of Samsara Sharingan kept pouring out, which stabilized the supergravity space. I didn't expect this guy to be so tough. Otsutsuki Kagaya stared at Lei Luo's location. His face was very ugly, and at the same time there was a trace of regret. Lei Luo's strength is already on the same level as her. If she chose to cooperate with Lei Luo before, she should be more sure of dealing with the 3 of Otsutsuki Momoshiki. But there are not so many ifs in this world, and now I only hope that I can successfully kill Lei Luo and absorb the power in his body to enhance my own strength. However, even if she chose to cooperate with Lei Luo at the beginning, Lei Luo might not agree, because in the system tasks, there are only 3 options for dealing with Otsutsuki Kagaya: sealing, killing, and subduing. Cooperation cannot meet the conditions for completing the task. Looks like I need to go to the starting ball space to replenish chakra. Otsutsuki Kagaya thought to himself. But when the idea arose in Otsutsuki Kagaya's mind, Lei Luo had already guessed it. If you want to maintain the space where the Heavenly Imperial Palace is located, you need to consume a lot of chakra, and then Otsutsuki Kagaya has released so many powerful techniques, and the chakra consumption must be a lot. And if Otsutsuki Kagaya goes into the starting ball space, she can absorb the chakra of the person controlled by infinite Tsukuyomi to restore herself. And after absorbing everyone's chakra, Otsutsuki Kagaya's strength and speed will be further improved. Lei Luo couldn't just watch Kagaya recover and then deal with himself. Just when Kagaya shuttled through space to the starting ball space, Lei Luo also discovered the node connecting the hypergravity space and the starting ball space through Kagaya's actions. Then he used the void walk to enter the space of the origin ball with Kagaya directly through that space node. After Otsutsuki Kagaya came to the starting ball space, he immediately prepared to absorb everyone's chakra to recover himself, but at this moment, he found that Lei Luo entered the starting ball space with her. Damn it. Chapter 214-Frost Space. Obviously, Lei Luo's difficulty made Otsutsuki Kagaya very angry, and she didn't expect that other people could travel freely in her own space. But the top priority now is to absorb the chakra of those in Infinite Tsukuyomi to restore himself. And even if Lei Luo followed her to the starting ball space, only she could absorb this chakra. So when Otsutsuki Kagaya waved his hand, countless pure chakras escaped from the space wall of the starting ball space, and then under the control of Otsutsuki Kagaya, they converged towards his body. This Kagaya doesn't look down on me too much. He absorbs chakra in front of me. You can absorb it, can't I? Lei Luo looked at Otsutsuki Kagaya who was absorbing everyone's chakra in front of him and was speechless. But Kagaya's own consumption doesn't have to be small. Although he has Sharia's Rhapsody to speed up the recovery of chakra, this speed is not as fast as absorbing other people's chakra. So Lei Luo also began to absorb the chakra in the initial ball space, but he found that he couldn't absorb it. No wonder Otsutsuki Kagaya is so confident in her absorption in front of me, she must know very well that others can't absorb the chakra in this ball space. But she still underestimates me. My means are more than that. I saw that Lei Luo once again activated the power of Godzilla in the body, and instantly entered the full Godzilla mode. Devouring. I saw Lei Luo, who had transformed into Godzilla, opened his mouth and sucked, and a terrifying phagocytosis came out of Godzilla's mouth, and the chakra that was being absorbed and gathered by Kagaya was instantly shunted. Almost half of the chakras gathered towards Godzilla's mouth. After all, swallowing energy is Godzilla's best innate instinct. Even if it is under the control of others, it can forcibly swallow it. And as Godzilla absorbed, more and more chakras were taken from Kagaya's side and gathered towards Godzilla. Kagaya, who is absorbing chakra, finds that he can absorb less and less chakra. What's going on? The chakra of this ninja world is too rare. Then Kagaya opened his eyes, only to find Godzilla who was swallowing chakra in the distance. It's you again. Otsutsuki Kagaya bit Kiba a little bit and said. After that, Otsutsuki Kagaya naturally stopped posing as Godzilla, who was incarnated by Lei Luo, continued to absorb chakra, and attacked Lei Luo directly. Lei Luo has been devouring chakra, he has also been observing Kagaya's condition through his omnipotence. Having absorbed so much chakra, Lei Luo couldn't help feeling that he had fully recovered, and even felt that his power was stronger than before. The moment Kagaya's body disappeared in place, Lei Luo immediately stopped absorbing and entered a state of alert. Ding! Lei Luo Godzilla swung his claws backwards, blocking the attack of Otsutsuki Kagaya who used Yomatsu Hirasaka to shuttle behind Lei Luo. Then Lei Luo instantly entered Sage mode again and turned into a Godzilla fairy. Eat me another Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade. Lei Luo opened his huge mouth, and once again condensed and spewed out an energy ball that flashed in 3 colors of gold, yuhi, and blue, and blasted towards Otsutsuki Kagaya. After all, Lei Luo's status has returned to full, and even increased, and it is even more easy to release such a powerful attack. But Otsutsuki Kagaya was surprised when she saw the oncoming Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade. After all, she had seen the power of this move before, and it was the thing that succeeded in blowing its inflated Gudodama truth-seeking ball. So Otsutsuki Kagaya left the starting ball space directly, dodging this move. Lei Luo looked at Otsutsuki Kagaya who disappeared in the space of the starting ball, and naturally followed him closely. Using the void walk, he passed through the space node and came to the space where Otsutsuki Kagaya escaped. As soon as he entered this space, his eyes were filled with whiteness, the light was refracted, and Lei Luo's eyes were almost blinded. This is the frost space in the Imperial Palace. Lei Luo quickly adapted to this environment. Although the frost in this frosty space was biting, it had no effect on Godzilla. Then Lei Luo searched for the trace of Otsutsuki Kagaya in this frosty space through his 5-vision omnipotence. But no matter how you look at it, there is no trace of Otsutsuki Kagaya in the sky and the ground, but Lei Luo can feel her breath and know that she is definitely here and has not left. Then suddenly countless icicles shot towards Lei Luo, saying they were icicles, but that was relative to the size of Godzilla. As far as Lei Luo's body is concerned, what is attacking him is the tip of icebergs. However, this attack was just a small trick for Godzilla Sage. When Lei Luo swiped his claws, 5 blades of light shot out from the tips of his claws. After leaving the tip of the claw, it seemed to grow in the wind, turning into 5 light knives that penetrated the sky completely, smashing the incoming ice picks one after another. And Lei Luo looked in the direction the ice pick came from, but still couldn't find any trace of Kagaya. At this time, Lei Luo remembered why this situation happened. In this frost space, Kagaya has another ability, which can merge with the frost space and transform into ice, so Lei Luo can't find her trace. But now that this joint has been figured out, Lei Luo has a way to find her. Then Kagaya heard faint chants coming from the ice and snow. The heart of the south, the pupil of the north, the fingertips of the west, and the toes of the east, gather with the wind and disperse with the rain. 58 of the binding roads, slap the toes and chase the sparrows. A little bit of undetectable fluorescence drifted away with Lei Luo's singing, tracking Kagaya's soul breath, and soon Lei Luo found Kagaya's location. It turned out that Kagaya was actually hidden in the iceberg to the southwest. Although her body had been integrated into the iceberg, her soul had been marked by Lei Luo, which was clearly visible in Lei Luo's induction. Come out, Kagaya. Godzilla Fairy Lei Luo walked to the iceberg where Kagaya was located step by step, and finally stopped before the iceberg. His eyes seemed to penetrate the iceberg, staring straight at Kagaya in the iceberg. Hiding it like this is too incompatible with the name of your ancestor chakra. Kagaya listened to Lei Luo's voice and finally determined that he had found himself integrated with the iceberg, which made her heart feel a little panic. Just like the day when he was chased and fled thousands of years ago. But she still had a bit of luck in her heart, in case Lei Luo just tricked her out, maybe Lei Luo just guessed that she was here. Then she deliberately controlled the southeast iceberg to launch several ice cones to attack Lei Luo, trying to guide Lei Luo to change direction. But the ice pick was in the hands of Godzilla Sage Lei Luo, and it disappeared with a flick of his claw. Then don't blame me. Chapter 215 The 99 of the Tao. Kagaya Surrender. The 99 of the Tao. Kagaya Surrender. Immediately afterwards, Lei Luo brazenly launched an attack on the iceberg in front of him. Boom! With a loud bang, the iceberg was directly destroyed by Lei Luo's hands. Fortunately, Kagaya escaped in time, otherwise he would have been seriously injured at the end of Lei Luo's attack. Seeing that Lei Luo was about to take another shot, Otsutsuki Kagaya, who had consumed a lot of money, hurriedly called to stop. Wait a minute, Lei Luo, I agree to cooperate with you. Lei Luo smiled slightly when he heard the words, but he was in Godzilla Sage mode now, and his usual smile looked so terrifying now. Then Otsutsuki Kagaya heard Lei Luo reply loudly. Want to cooperate now? It's too late. Now you have only 2 paths, one is to die, and the other is to surrender to me. What did Otsutsuki Kagaya eat the fruit of the god tree and cultivate the white Zetsu core? Not just to deal with the 3 of Otsutsuki Momoshiki, but because they didn't want to die. So naturally Otsutsuki Kagaya could not choose the first path mentioned by Lei Luo, and Otsutsuki Kagaya could not accept it by surrendering to Lei Luo. She is the ancestor of chakra, how could she surrender to a native in the ninja world? Thinking of this, Otsutsuki Kagaya's eyes bulged with blue veins, but this was not because Byakugan was turned on, but purely because of anger. Want me to surrender to you? Impossible. Then Kagaya directly triggered the divine tree chakra in his body, and instantly entered a state similar to the tail beast mode. And this state looks like a rabbit. Ha ha ha. Lei Luo laughed out loud looking at Kagaya's state. It's really cute and powerful. It turned out to be a rabbit. I didn't expect this guy Kagaya to be a bunny girl. Now I'm more interested. Lei Luo's heart was full of bad taste. Otsutsuki Kagaya heard Lei Luo's laughter, but didn't know why, but felt that Lei Luo seemed to be laughing at himself for being over his head. So Otsutsuki Kagaya got even more angry. Rabbit hair needle. The giant rabbit-tailed beast incarnated by Otsutsuki Kagaya shuddered, and in an instant, countless long-haired flying needles shot towards Lei Luo. In fact, this trick Otsutsuki Kagaya used before, is the white-haired flying needle she used in human form. Although he is now in the tailed beast state, for Lei Luo, this level of attack is still a small skill. Senpo, Sage Art. Golden Shield. A huge golden barrier appeared in front of Lei Luo and easily blocked the rabbit hair needle. But behind Otsutsuki Kagaya, 10 huge chakra tentacles suddenly appeared. It seems that although the shape has changed, the essence has not changed, it is still 10 tails. Under the control of Otsutsuki Kagaya, the 10 tails were drawn towards Lei Luo together. Boom. 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 The 10 tails slammed into the ground beside Lei Luo, creating countless giant pits in this hard layer of ice. And Lei Luo in Godzilla Sage mode is huge, but still very flexible, like dancing, through the gap shrouded in 10 tails. Otsutsuki Kagaya's heart became more and more intense, and in the eyes of the giant rabbit-tailed beast incarnated, the Yuhi color in the Samsara Sharingan became deeper, and it looked more like a rabbit. Then he opened his mouth and directly condensed a tailed beast bomb towards Lei Luo. Lei Luo wasn't afraid to fight her head-on, and directly condensed a Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade and slammed it into the 10 tails tailed beast bomb. Boom! With a loud bang, the wind and snow in the entire frost stopped, and a huge mushroom cloud rose up where Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade and 10 tails tailed beast bomb collided. PFF'd. Otsutsuki Kagaya suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. In the collision just now, Lei Luo's Senpo, Sage Art Atomic Jade finally had the upper hand. Although the two exploded together in the end, the explosion was closer to her, so the shock wave was more severe. Moreover, due to the collision of the two, it caused a violent collision in the frost space, and she had to consume a lot of pupil power and chakra to maintain the Imperial Palace. It can't be like this, it seems that I have to go back to the ninja world. Otsutsuki Kagaya made a decision in his heart, and then controlled himself and Lei Luo back to the ninja world and closed the heavenly Imperial Palace. Lei Luo only felt that the scene in front of him changed instantly, and he knew that he had returned to the world of ninjas. Because the moon in that sky is so conspicuous, and Yuhi the gorilla is still shining brightly. This is also very magical. The light of Yuhi's moon is not Yuhi's color. The Godzilla fairy Lei Luo looked at the 10 tails giant rabbit Otsutsuki Kagaya in the distance. His eyes were cold, and he didn't have the slightest idea of showing mercy. Because in this level of battle, as long as one is not careful, it is possible to lose the whole game. The big deal, he killed Otsutsuki Kagaya, and only took 2 god-level lottery points. He must not use his life to joke. In the original book, Naruto and Sasuke defeated Otsutsuki Kagaya, not because they were stronger than Otsutsuki Kagaya, but only because of the yin and yang seal from the 6 Paths Sage. It shows that the sealing technique is the most restrained ability of Otsutsuki Kagaya, but the sealing technique in the ninja world cannot be stronger than the sealing technique of the 6 Paths Immortal. But the way of binding in the world of death may have different effects. Thinking of this, Lei Luo began to sing. The thunderous carriage, the crevices of the spinning wheel, this thing is clustered with light and divided into 6. The 61, 6-stand light prison. Along with Lei Luo's chanting, the 6 paths light Jinchuriki column suddenly appeared and turned into a rope, controlling the limbs, body and head of the 10 tails giant rabbit incarnated by Kagaya. No matter how hard Kagaya struggled, she couldn't get rid of it. Because the Tao seems to have an entity, but it actually binds the soul, and Otsutsuki Kagaya has no means to defend the soul, so naturally it is impossible to get rid of it. But the 10 tails behind Otsutsuki Kagaya were not bound, because the 6 paths light prison can only release the 6 paths light Jinchuriki column, so Kagaya controlled the tail to continue to bombard Lei Luo, trying to get rid of the current predicament. However, Lei Luo didn't care and continued to sing. The 99 of the Tao. Swastika. First song. Stop stretching. In an instant, 1,000 feet of light bloomed from Lei Luo's body, as if it turned into a cloth of Dao light, wrapping the entire Kagaya, making it impossible for him to move, even the 10 giant tails behind him. Second song. Balian Latch. Following the chant, dozens of light guns fell from the sky, pierced through Kagaya's body and nailed it to the ground, making it impossible for him to resist. However, Otsutsuki Kagaya, who was pierced by the light gun, felt as if his soul had been pierced, and the unspeakable pain spread throughout his body. The finale. Swastika is too sealed. With Lei Luo's last chant, Kagaya felt the breath of death enveloped him. So she struggled hard, and her strong desire to survive seemed to make her break through a shackle for a while, and shouted to Lei Luo. I surrender. Chapter 216 Infinite Tsukuyomi Lifted. Infinite Tsukuyomi lifted. As Kagaya shouted, Lei Luo stopped singing. The forbidden steel with the swastika that just appeared in the air did not fall after all, and slowly dissipated. Only then did Otsutsuki Kagaya feel the cloud of death moving away from him. Lei Luo finally heard the long-lost system prompt. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully subduing Otsutsuki Kagaya and completing the task to reverse the fate. Congratulations to the host for getting the quest reward, God level lottery points 3. Very good. Lei Luo's mouth showed a slight smile, and then exited Godzilla Sage mode and returned to normal. Since the system has prompted the task to be completed, it means that Kagaya has truly surrendered. Although I don't know how the system judges, the result is not wrong. Then Lei Luo released the control of Kagaya. After Otsutsuki Kagaya got out of control, he also exited the full-body-tailed beast mode. Master. Kagaya came to Lei Luo's side and whispered, looking a little pitiful. Lei Luo smiled and said, since you have surrendered to me now, you don't have to be so sensible, and I'm not someone who doesn't care about human feelings. You can just call me by my name in the future. Otsutsuki Kagaya nodded and said, got it, Lei Luo-kun. Then Lei Luo looked at the Ninja World Union army still surrounded by trees in the distance, and Obito, who was still in a coma after being rescued by himself just now, then turned his head and said to Kagaya. Kagaya, don't worry, now that you're mine, I won't let Otsutsuki Momoshiki take you away. After a while, my strength will increase again, and the 3 Momoshiki will definitely not be my opponents. Otsutsuki Kagaya listened to Lei Luo's words, nodded obediently, and said nothing. Then I heard Lei Luo say again, Kagaya, you have released Infinite Tsukuyomi. Otsutsuki Kagaya heard the words, and the Infinite Tsukuyomi was lifted with one turn of Samsara Sharingan. The moon also returned to normal again, and the trees that wrapped the ninjas quickly withered and withered, releasing the ninjas in them. Why am I here? What's the matter? Damn it, where's my wife? The ninjas were clearly still indulging in Infinite Tsukuyomi's sweet dreams, and they didn't come back to their senses. But they looked at the scene around them and quickly remembered what had happened. We are the Ninja Union Army. This is the 4th Ninja War. Tsunade and other 4 shadows, as well as cage-level powerhouses such as Namikaze Minato, are awake earlier than the ordinary ninjas of the joint ninja world. Following the traces of the battlefield, they sensed Lei Luo's direction and rushed over. Tsunade looked at Otsutsuki Kagaya next to Lei Luo with some confusion, because she had never seen this person before, but Tsunade didn't have time to think about it, so he asked Lei Luo. Lei Luo-kun, what about Uchiha Madara? Lei Luo smiled and replied, Uchiha Madara is dead, the fourth ninja war is over, we are victorious. Namikaze Minato, however, remembered what Lei Luo once told, and Kagaya, who was beside Lei Luo, had some guesses. So Namikaze Minato asked tentatively, Lei Luo-kun, who is this? Lei Luo grabbed Kagaya's hand, pulled it to his side, and said, let me introduce to you. This is Otsutsuki Kagaya, a very powerful female ninja. It was thanks to her that she was able to defeat Uchiha Madara in the first place. Quote. Her strength is no less than mine. Being directly held by Lei Luo in front of so many people, Kagaya's face Jonin couldn't help showing a hint of shame. Yuhi. Although she lived for 1,000 years, she was always sealed in the moon. I have never had such close contact with a man before. Namikaze Minato's pupils shrank suddenly when he heard Lei Luo's introduction, but it returned to normal immediately. Now that Kagaya can stay here peacefully, it means that Lei Luo has determined that she is no longer a threat. Just when everyone was about to say something, they suddenly heard an exclamation. Obito. Looking back, I saw that it was Kakashi who rushed over, and then found Uchiha Obito lying on the ground in a coma, and couldn't help exclaiming. After all, in his impression, Obito was already dead, and he didn't expect to see him here. Then Kakashi picked up Obito, came to Lei Luo, and asked, Lei Luo-kun, what's going on with Obito? Lei Luo looked at Kakashi and said, I'll help you wake him up first, and then you can just ask him if you have anything. Light escape, light therapy. Lei Luo's hand and pressed it on Obito's heart. Mokuden wood-style cells in Obito's body are like fish smelling gratified, and can't wait to absorb Lei Luo's light chakra to replenish his vitality. Finally Obito woke up and slowly opened his eyes. One was Yuhi's Mangekyo, and the other was a black eye socket. Because Rinnegan, who was originally in it, has been dug up by Uchiha Madara. Is this the world of the dead? Obito murmured, clearly not awake yet. Then he finally saw Kakashi in front of him and asked, Kakashi, are you dead too? I'm so sorry. Obito thought that Kakashi was also killed by Uchiha Madara, so they met in the underworld. Kakashi said with a smile, Obito, what nonsense are you talking about? We're not dead yet. Didn't he die? Obito repeated, before coming back to his senses, sitting up abruptly, out of Kakashi's arms. Then Obito stretched out his hand tremblingly and touched his empty eye socket, then closed his eyes and took a few breaths, and finally came to his senses. I'm actually not dead. But immediately he became decadent again, as if he had lost his soul and was not angry at all. How can I live? I didn't expect that all of this was a scam by Uchiha Madara, and after all, it was impossible to create a world with Rin. Hearing this, Kakashi couldn't help but slap Obito on the head. Obito, what nonsense are you talking about? Rin is still alive and well. How can you say such things in front of Lei Luo-kun? Now that the Fourth Ninja War has ended and Akatsuki has been successfully eliminated, it is estimated that he will be able to attend Lei Luo-kun and Rin's wedding soon. Obito seemed to have heard some shocking news. He raised his head suddenly, stared at Kakashi and asked, what did you say? Rin is still alive, and he is about to marry Lei Luo. Obito suddenly fell into doubt about life. Chapter 217 Death of Obito. Ending. But after so many Obito, my mental quality is still very good, and I quickly recovered. Seeing that Obito's mood had stabilized, Kakashi asked, Obito, where have you been all these years? Why haven't you returned to the village? In fact, with Kakashi's ingenuity, he had already guessed that Obito must be related to Akatsuki, otherwise, how could it be possible to appear here so coincidentally? But he still kept a trace of fantasy in his heart. However, Obito's words broke his fantasy and told him everything he had experienced, including the Cubit Ninetales chaos he caused, without hiding it. After that, Obito, who had told everything, looked at Kakashi's sluggish appearance and said, as if he had put something down in his heart. Kakashi, I'm sorry, I know I'm a sinner and there is no need to live in this world anymore. It's enough to know that Rin is still alive now. Then Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan turned around, a Uzumaki appeared beside him, opened Kamui's space, Obito reached in and took out a jar. That jar was keeping his other Mangekyo Sharingan. Kakashi watched Obito's movements, anticipating what Obito wanted to do. But before he could stop it, Obito reached out and buckled the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes. There were only 2 dark eye sockets on Obito's face now. Obito, what are you doing? Quickly take it back. With Lei Luo-kun and Lord Tsunade here, your eyes can still be transplanted back. Kakashi said anxiously. He already felt Obito's death intent, but he didn't want Obito to die. But Obito has already made up his mind. He has nothing to worry about in this world, and there is no shortage of sinners in this world. Obito raised his hand tremblingly and handed the 2 Mangekyo Sharingans in front of Kakashi. Kakashi, you don't have to persuade me anymore. This is for you, a belated gift from Jonin. Kakashi's eyes snapped to Yuhi when he heard this, but he still took Obito's Mangekyo solemnly. Kakashi, don't forget your promise to me, remember to protect Rin. After Obito finished saying this, his hand fell weakly and lost his vitality. Just when he dug out his Mangekyo Sharingan, he had already messed up his body with chakra. He was already ready to die. Kakashi sealed Obito's body with the seal scroll. Lei Luo didn't say anything when he saw it. Obito used his own death to cleanse his sins. This was his choice. Wouldn't it be unfair to those who died because of him if he was saved? The most important thing is that the relationship between Lei Luo and Obito is not very good, not to mention that Obito has always had ideas about Rin. Okay, Kakashi, now that Obito has made a decision, you can walk with his eyes. Namikaze Minato comforted Kakashi. Kakashi nodded and said nothing more. Soon, a month has passed. Akatsuki have been resolved, and the joint army of the ninja world is inevitably disbanded again. After all, the enemy has disappeared now, and the relationship between the countries has returned to the previous situation. Of course, there may be a little more understanding between them, but not much has changed. In the Hokage building in Konoha village, the land of fire, Lei Luo and Tsunade were discussing Lei Luo's succession to the 6th generation of Hokage in the Hokage office. Lei Luo-kun, everything has settled down now, I should step back from this position. Tsunade patted the arm of the chair under him, looked at Lei Luo and said. No, Master Tsunade, do you need to be in such a hurry? Lei Luo obviously resisted a little. Now that the 4th Ninja World War has just ended, and there are so many messes, Tsunade is obviously just trying to be lazy. In Lei Luo's plan, he had to wait for Tsunade to finish his work before abdicating, so he had to take it easy. And now that the 4th Ninja War is over, the promise of Yuhi and the others' wedding must also be on the agenda. Moreover, at that time, I just wanted to complete the system tasks and accepted Kagaya, but now how to arrange Kagaya's identity is a headache. Tsunade pointed to the wrinkle at the corner of his eyes, because he used the 100 Heroes technique when he played against Uchiha Madara before, so he consumed part of his life force and his face was a little older than before. It's probably from the old sister Yu who was in her 20s to A in her 30s. Then Tsunade said, look at the wrinkles at the corners of my eyes, and if I continue working in Hokage's position, I guess I will become as old as the old man soon. I should take a good rest and take care of myself. Tsunade said was Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the 3rd generation. Now his life is very comfortable. He teaches his grandson at home every day. Under his supervision, Konohamaru is not as naughty as in the original book. Hearing Tsunade's words, Lei Luo nodded helplessly and replied, "Okay, then I have to report to the daimyo to inherit the Hokage position. It will take at least a month for this to happen. Then 2 months later, the Hokage succession ceremony will be held in 2 months, and I will officially succeed as the 6th generation of Hokage. How about it?" Tsunade watched and talked for so long. Lei Luo finally let go, nodded and replied, "Okay. 2 months is only 2 months." Lei Luo thought to himself, after 2 months, things in this village should be pretty much dealt with. Now that the matter has been settled, there is no need for Lei Luo to stay in the Hokage office. Even though Tsunade tried his best to keep him and let him learn to handle things by his side, Lei Luo still resolutely resigned and left the Hokage building. Lei Luo breathed a sigh of relief after walking out of the Hokage building. "Oh, I won't have such a leisurely life in the future." When Lei Luo returned to the psychic beast shop and saw that the shop was empty, it stands to reason that the few of them now have nothing to do, and they don't know where they are going. Even Kagaya is not there. Isn't something wrong? Lei Luo's heart tightened, and he quickly turned on his 5-sided omnipotence to search for the traces of the 4 girls in the village. It turned out that these 4 people were actually shopping. "Oh, woman." Since they were all fine, Lei Luo was relieved and went back to his room on the 2nd floor. Lying on the bed, Lei Luo finally had time to draw the lottery. Thinking about not having a lottery for so long, I still feel a little itchy. System, I want to draw a lottery. Chapter 218-6 Library Immortal Thief. The system heard Lei Luo's call and replied, "Dear host, your current balance of God level lottery points is 3 points. Would you like to draw all of them?" The system's answering method made Lei Luo's head full of black lines, thinking of the immobile and unconnected customer service in the previous life, but Lei Luo still did not complain after all. After all, the lottery is the most important thing. Lei Luo replied in his mind, "Draw all." "No, draw one by one." With Lei Luo's answer, 3 **** instantly appeared in his mind, but with Lei Luo's change of words, 2 more **** disappeared. Then the **** stopped after a while, and 6 S-rank prizes appeared on it. S-class weapon, 1 punch. S-class item, Izumi of the Woodcutter. S-level skill, 6 library immortal thief. S-class weapon, Zanpakudo * 1 text. S-class item, Devil Fruit * hormone fruit. S-rank bloodline, Saiyan bloodline. Lei Luo is a little unfamiliar with many of the prizes above, but the system has some brief introductions to them. 1 punch, from the world of Vitality Knights, is a type of fist weapon. Usually, it looks like a glove with a very good material, and it is not an S-rank reward at all. But it has a special ability. The user can continuously inject his own energy into the glove. The more energy injected, the greater the power of the punch. The amount of energy that can be injected into 1 punch is almost unlimited. As long as enough energy is accumulated, it is not impossible to break stars with 1 punch. But every time the energy in it is used, it needs to be re-injected again. Izumi of the Woodcutter is a magical item from the world of Doraemon. This artifact looks like a children's swimming ring, but the more rare it has the ability to rule. The user can put any item into the Woodcutter's Izumi, and the Woodcutter's Izumi will spit out items 2 levels higher, and the items you put in will be returned to you. For example, if you throw in an iron axe, Izumi the Woodcutter will spit out an iron axe and a silver axe for you. A golden axe. Ryuku Immortal Thief, from the world under 1 person, also known as Saint Thief. This is the one that Lei Luo wants most among these prizes. The effect of this ability is very simple, but it is also very crazy, that is, stealing the vitality of the world. In particular, this ability has been optimized by the system. It can be said that as long as you have the ability of Ryuku Immortal Thief, you will live the same life as heaven and earth. Zanpakudo, a text, from the familiar world of death. It usually looks like a huge brush, which can be used to perform ghost-like spells. For example, writing the word hidden on the Lingwang Palace can hide the Lingwang Palace, and writing a seal can create an order. A barrier that humans cannot pass through. Before liberation, the ability of the brush is cutting the name without cutting the meat, and it can attack the opponent and reduce half of its power. After liberation, the tip of the brush at the front of the brush will change into a blade, and the ability is still cutting the name without cutting the meat, but extending the black thing that can be touched by the blade loses its name. If the opponent's weapon loses its name, it will not work. Its power. And this Zanpakuto is an evolutionary Zanpakuto that was born long before Benkai appeared in the world. After Benkai, it can and carve a new name and on the thing whose name was erased by a single word of Shikai, such as carving a and black ant and on the cast object, and the target becomes as weak and powerless as an ant. Devil Fruit * Hormone Fruit, the magical devil fruit owned by the monster King Ivan in the world of One Piece. This fruit can control the body's body temperature, pigment, growth, and emotions, transform humans from the inside of the body, and even change their gender to become a new human being, which is the she-male. Saiyan blood comes from the Dragon Ball world. In the Dragon Ball world, Saiyans are the strongest fighting nation in the universe, because Saiyans have great potential and their bloodline talent is very powerful. As long as Saiyans are willing to practice, there is almost no upper limit. Moreover, the vitality is very tenacious, and the combat power will be greatly improved after each death and resurrection. Lei Luo understood the information about these prizes. The lucky draw started. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the S-level skill, 6 Library Immortal Thief. Ha ha ha, very good. Lei Luo laughed wildly in his heart. Originally, he used the Light of Awakening to resurrect Namikaze Minato twice and Uzumaki Kushina once, but it took 15 years of his lifespan. Although he doesn't know how long he can live, 15 years is not a small number. However, now that Lei Luo has the 6th Library Immortal Thief, he has the same longevity as heaven and earth. If Lei Luo pervert, he can completely make the enemy sit up in the coffin board. Hey, if I go down with a knife, you're dead. Hey, I have brought you back to life with another awakening light. But when you got up, I stabbed you again and asked if you were angry. Lei Luo's mind flashed a lot of irritating thoughts. After a long time, the excitement in his heart subsided. After all, immortality has always been the eternal pursuit of human beings. Orochimaru has been pursuing for a lifetime has yet to find a way, but Lei Luo easily achieved it. Okay, system, let's start the second lottery draw. Following Lei Luo's order, another **** flew out of his mind. After the fancy and dazzling rotation, the system finally stopped. I saw that the 6 prizes above are S-Class Weapon, Zanpakuto Glass Peacock. S-Level Skill, Detention of Spirits. S-Class Items, Devil Fruit * Mirror Fruit. S-Class Weapon, Zanpakuto Onitomaru. S-Class Item, Random World Pass. S-Level Skill, Heaven and Earth Furnace. After the last lottery, Lei Luo didn't bother to check the information about these prizes, such as Zanpakuto and Devil Fruit. Lei Luo already owns Hyarinmaru, and also ate the Glittering Fruit and the Buddha Fruit. Devil Fruit, there is no pursuit for these anymore. And the rest of the prizes are worth seeing. Just like the Liuku Immortal Thief that Lei Luo had just drawn, the general scent by cooling also came from a world under one person. The use of cooling scent will be able to manipulate the soul, and can temporarily borrow all the abilities of the soul during its lifetime. It can even devour the soul, and can permanently gain some abilities of the soul. Random World Pass. The system does not show where the prize came from, but its function is very simple. After using the pass, it will randomly shuttle to another world. The melting pot of heaven and earth comes from a fantasy world. This is a skill, but it can actually be called a magical power. He can smelt the abilities he has, fuse them, become more suitable for him, and become stronger. Lei Luo looked at the last 2 prizes, but he still shouted that sentence to the system. Start the lottery. Chapter 219_Random World Pass. Avalon Scabbard. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining an S-class item, Random World Pass. Well, I didn't expect to get this thing, so let's put it in the system space first. Lei Luo was a little confused when looking at this prize. He wanted to see a new world. If he randomly came to a world with advanced technology, wouldn't it be very comfortable to live? But Lei Luo is reluctant to bear these people in Hokage. He has been in the world of Hokage for so many years, and he still has a few close friends. Forget it, don't think about it so much. System, give me the last shot. It's a familiar ***** again, but it's a different prize. I saw that the 6 prizes this time are S-class item, Zodiac Charm. S-tier equipment, Avalon Scabbard. S-class item, Iron Dragon Slayer Magic Crystal. S-level skill, Vitality Bullet. S-level skill, Break the Way. S-class equipment, Taigu * Lightning Stone Fire, Men of Susano. The Zodiac Charms come from the world of Jackie Chan's adventures. These 12 spells are the source of magic in the Holy Master, which can endow the Holy Master with powerful powers and abilities, and each spell has different magic powers. The energy of the 12 Zodiac Charms is unfathomable and has no limit, but humans cannot exert the greatest power of the charms, and if the user's own strength is stronger, the charms will be stronger, and the charms are determined according to the difference in the user's ability. Power. Avalon Scabbard, from the world of the Holy Grail War. The appearance of the scabbard is decorated with striking blue enamel on gold-yellow metal, with a long-lost fairy text in the middle. The ability of the scabbard is immortality, and it has the ability to heal the wielder's wounds and stop aging. In fact, it is a function called Mobile Fortress, which is aimed at individual combat. When unfolded in its true form, it disintegrates into hundreds of pieces, leaving the wielder in fairyland protected from all physical disturbances. This is a noble phantasm that reaches the magical realm. It can avoid all physical interference, even the interference of parallel worlds. It is the strongest guardian known to the Holy Grail world, forming an absolute defense that even the 5 major magics cannot touch. The Iron Dragon Slayer magic crystal comes from the fairy tale world. As long as the Iron Dragon Slayer magic crystal is fused, you can control the Iron Dragon Slayer magic and even transform into a Iron Dragon. The Vitality Bomb comes from the Dragon Ball world. This skill is the most powerful move of the protagonist of Dragon Ball world, Sun Wukong. It was developed by the King of the Northern Realm and learned from Zhuang after Wukong and Raditz died in the battle. When using the Vitality Bomb, you need to raise both hands to absorb the vitality of all creatures, condense a huge energy ball and attack the opponent. And the size of this energy ball is determined by the vitality absorbed. The more vitality absorbed, the bigger the energy ball. Once the vitality bullet hits the opponent, if the opponent's evil heart is stronger, the power will be stronger. Only those with a righteous heart can control it. Destruction comes from the world of the God of Death, and it belongs to the high-level conjuration ghost path only used by the God of Death, like the bondage controlled by Lei Luo. But the difference is that the main purpose of binding the other is to bind the opponent, and some ghosts will have the ability to attack. On the other hand, destruction is a ghost way that directly attacks the opponent for the purpose of attacking and destroying it. Taigu * Lightning Stone Fire, Men of Susano, from the world of Yuhi, S.I.s. The biological humanoid Tico is originally made to protect the important personnel. It has a meticulous personality. Because it is required to be able to guard the owner inseparably when making this Tico, it is very powerful in hand-to-hand combat, and the housework skills are also very skilled. You can do everything in laundry, and there are more than 1,000 dishes that you are good at. Susano can use the Tomo on his chest to absorb the master's life force to complete the madness, so as to exert his power, and use it only 3 times to drain the master's life force, but his power is unique. After becoming mad, he has 3 abilities: Amakong Cloud Sword, Super Attack Yataric Mirror, Reflection Defense, and Bachi Tomo, High-Speed Movement. Lei Luo was a little speechless looking at these prizes, what kind of monsters are these? Vitality Bomb needs a person with a heart of justice to become a master. Lei Luo doesn't know how to define this, and what constitutes a heart of justice. And isn't that Susano's man a nanny? His fighting power is not worth mentioning to him, and he still needs his protection. Even if he was asked to protect Rin and the others, Lei Luo was a little uncomfortable. This Susano man should have a male appearance. At this moment, the system answered Lei Lu's questions aloud. Don't worry about the host, as long as it is the skills extracted from the system, there are no restrictions, even if you are a heinous sinner, you can control the Vitality Bomb. But if you want to teach other people how to cultivate Vitality Bombs, that person must have a righteous heart. And Tegu Susano's male image is not fixed. If the host requests, I can set it as a female image. Well, since the system says so, Lei Luo has nothing to say. Okay, system, let's start the lottery. The system ***** spins rapidly, then slowly stops. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining S-class equipment, Avalon Scabbard. Oh, not bad. Lei Luo looked at the Avalon Scabbard that appeared in the system space, and nodded with satisfaction. This is something Lei Luo can use now. Now Lei Luo has Glitter Fruit, Renren Fruit * Buddha Form, Godzilla, etc. At the same time, he has also learned the abilities of the 8 Inner Gates, Sanxianliu Sage Art, etc. The attack is strong enough. Although Lei Luo has Zhongya's Hourglass, no one will dislike the ability to save lives. Besides, Avalon's Scabbard is immortal. Combined with the immortal thief from Liuku, Lei Luo can now be regarded as a junior version of immortality. Don't worry about Otsutsuki Momoshiki and them this time. Lei Luo murmured, her eyes blurred, she didn't know what she was thinking. 2 months passed quickly, and the haze of the Fourth Ninja World War gradually dissipated. Tsunade reported to the daimyo of the Land of Fire that Lei Luo would serve as the 6th generation Hokage, and the resolution was passed easily. For Lei Luo to serve as the Hokage, the daimyo of the Land of Fire could not be asked for. After all, the Fourth Ninja World War ended in the hands of this man. He was the Hokage, and the Fire Country daimyo could rest assured. The news of Lei Luo's succession as the 6th generation of Hokage, Tsunade has long been released, and the impetuous hearts of Konoha village after the war have also calmed down. Tomorrow will be the day when Lei Luo succeeds the 6th generation of the Hokage ceremony. Chapter 220-6 Generations of Hokage Lei Luo. The next morning, Lei Luo was called up early by Rin and the others. After some meticulous grooming and dressing, and then put on the royal robe of the 6th generation Hokage prepared in advance, today's Lei Luo is handsome and compelling. Lei Luo-kun, he is really handsome today. Rin looked at Lei Luo who had taken care of him, and said softly, his eyes were full of gentle smiles. Yuhi and Yugao also nodded when they heard the words, and said, yes, Lei Luo-kun is really handsome today. Then Yuhi turned to Kagaya and asked, Kagaya-hime, what do you think of Lei Luo-kun's outfit today? Otsutsuki Kagaya obviously did not expect that Kurenai Yuhi would take the initiative to ask his own opinion, and was a little dazed for a while. Then Lei Luo heard Kagaya reply blankly, is it Lei Luo-kun? Well, handsome. This dumb look looks a little cute, and Lei Luo couldn't help but smile on his face. Ha, you guys are really, this is the first time you praise me like this in so many years, I'm really embarrassed. Lei Luo touched the back of his head and said with a smile. Uncle Lei Luo. At this moment, a shout came from downstairs of the psychic beast shop. It was Uzumaki Naruto, the godson of Lei Luo. Since Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina could reveal their identities, Naruto moved back to Minato's house, and the family of 3 was finally reunited. After all, he had lived in Lei Luo's store for more than 10 years, and Naruto was very familiar with it. Even if he moved back, he still regarded it as his home. Boom. Naruto ran up to the second floor without waiting for Lei Luo to reply. Uncle Lei Luo, how are you preparing here? Grandma Tsunade asked me to rush you. As soon as he finished speaking, Naruto saw Lei Luo wearing the 6th generation Hokage imperial robe, and was instantly attracted. This imperial robe is so handsome. I will definitely be Hokage in the future. Lei Luo looked at Naruto, whose eyes lit up after seeing Yushin robe, and said with a smile, Naruto, if Master Tsunade hears your words, he will definitely beat you up, even calling her Tsunade. Mother-in-law. Also, isn't Minato the 4th generation of Hokage? You haven't seen your father wearing a royal robe for so long since you went back. Naruto shook his head and replied, no, Dad said that he is no longer Hokage, so he can no longer wear the imperial robe. He wears that black Anbu uniform every day now. I asked him to put on the royal robe to show me and he disagreed. Lei Luo smiled and said, Minato is too strict with himself, and he doesn't even meet the requirements of his own children. But Naruto, don't worry, as long as you study ninjutsu well and improve your strength, I will let you be the 7th generation Hokage in the future. Let's wear our own imperial robes. When Naruto heard Lei Luo's words, he smiled and said, Uncle Lei Luo, this is what you said. Can't go back. I will definitely be the 7th Hokage. Lei Luo smiled and patted Naruto's head. Now Naruto is only 1 head taller than himself, and it is estimated that he will catch up with him in a few years. Time flies so fast. Okay, it's time for small talk. Tsunade-sama and the others are waiting, we should go to the Hokage building. Lei Luo took Rin, the others, and Naruto to the Hokage building together. He is the protagonist of today's ceremony. Today's celebration is very grand, not only because Lei Luo succeeded the 6th generation of Hokage, but also to eliminate the haze of the 4th Ninja World War. Konoha Village are also decorated with lights and various events are launched to attract customers. Standing on top of the Hokage building, Lei Luo looked at the dark crowd underground and was very happy. Looks like I'm still very popular in Konoha Village. Afterwards, Lei Luo took the hat representing the position of Hokage from Tsunade and announced loudly to the Konoha villagers. From today onwards, I am the 6th generation of Hokage Lei Luo. Hokage building burst into cheers. With such a powerful Hokage, the villagers felt at ease. Rin and the others looked at the high-spirited Lei Luo standing high, with admiration in their eyes. After the ceremony, the crowd dispersed and continued the celebration, while Lei Luo followed Tsunade and the others into the Hokage office. Looking at the familiar Hokage office, Lei Luo felt a little emotional. He used to come to the Hokage office countless times to receive and submit tasks, but now he has become a Hokage, and it is his turn to issue and receive tasks to others. As the so-called 3 fires for new officials to take office, since Lei Luo has become Hokage, some positions should also be changed. Lei Luo looked at the familiar faces in Hokage's office and said, Since I have become Hokage now, I should go to the capital to report to the daimyo soon. Tsunade nodded and said, That's right, Lei Luo-kun, according to common sense, he should report to the big name later. Lei Luo continued, Okay, then I will issue my first order as Hokage now, which is mainly to arrange some locations in the village, so that the village can continue to operate stably while I am away from the village. Hokage's office said a word, quietly waiting for Lei Luo's arrangement. Article 1. Minister Anbu remains under Namikaze Minato. Everyone has no objection. Since the last time Tsunade assigned Minato to this position, Minato is now very comfortable and has no objection. Article 2. Senju Tsunade is the Minister of Health. Tsunade had served as Hokage for 5 generations before, and he had no additional experience to take care of other things, so the medical minister in the village has always been a veteran of Kaharu Udatane. Now Tsunade has stepped down from Hokage's position and is fit to be the Minister of Health. Tsunade smiled and said, Lei Luo-kun, can't you just let me relax? Lei Luo also smiled and replied, It's hard work for the able, you are still so young, it's not a problem to stay at home every day. Tsunade waved his hand and said, okay, stop talking, I agree. Kaharu Udatane listened to Lei Luo's arrangement. Although he was a little dissatisfied, he didn't dare to show it. Although they were elders, their elder's voice in the village was getting lower and lower. This made Kaharu Udatane sometimes miss the time when Danzo was still around, when their elder's voice was many times stronger than it is now. However, the third arrangement Lei Luo said next made Kaharu Udatane dumbfounded. Article 3. The existence of the elders is no longer suitable for the development of Konoha, and I have decided to dissolve the elders. From now on, there will be no elders in Konoha village.